and then has an extra aura active on that only in that set. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you use your permanent buffs. And in addition, we've tried to make the permanent buffs
얘는
much
시작하자마자
more
부적 준다.
interesting rather than just flat stat bonuses as well. We also have a far more complex
데미지 왜 이렇게 세?
control
터지면?
system where there are light stuns, as you can see that little flinch, and there are also heavy stuns if you do a large amount of damage, especially with melee weapons and especially with physical damage. You'll be able to knock a monster into a state where they won't be able to react to you for sometimes a very long time, giving you a huge opening, especially for melee characters, to just deal all the damage while the boss is just recovering. And this system is a system that is connected to freeze, it's connected to a new immobilization effect, which is something that spears specialize in applying at the moment. And the more you apply these, the harder it is to apply more of them to a boss, which does mean that in a team you're both able to specialize in different mechanics, and you will both build up your effects on the boss.
나름 이게 체인도 있는데?
Locked out permanently from having a party of 6 people all applying crazy amounts of crowd control effects. It still gives you a huge tactical advantage, and many weapon types and spell types also take advantage of those mechanics. You can now rely on the fact that at some point during the boss fight, you'll be able to freeze them, and so you can follow through, and the same for applying a heavy stun. Most monsters have their own heavy stun animation where they get knocked down in a
the bosses anyway.
moment. The bosses definitely do.
Yeah, some bosses as well, but the boss is the main one.
And this just makes playing a hard-hitting warrior character just feel really punchy as you're just taking the enemy out of combat for a time to just finish them off. The player also has to deal with this system in a mostly positive way, where if you are stunned, then your threshold will build up for the next stun, and that will repeat. So it's very hard to be freeze-locked or stun-locked, and it carries over between the crowd control effects as well. So being frozen means you're very unlikely to be stunned afterwards, making it safer for the player to recover from freeze quickly, and if they can react in time. And this does mean that monsters, that when you're beaten up by a lot of monsters at once, they will keep stacking up stun on you, but the player recovers from stun much faster than bosses do, so you don't need to worry about waiting outside.
디아포 망했나요? 디아포는 이미 망했고요. 그래도 오늘 저거 패치가 좀 괜찮아요. 8월 8일날 이제 다른 직업들 상향해주는 거 안 쓰는 스킬들을 좀 상향해주는 패치가 있어서 오늘 좀 캠프파이어 패치 내용은 좀 괜찮아.
The player cannot be heavy stunned, I should note. You're not going to be knocked on the ground for 8 seconds. That's just not a thing that you need to worry about, thankfully. Freeze is a little bit longer now, so you need to be a bit careful about freeze, but we've got flasks for that. Now let's take a look at some of the skills. This is a close look at Falling Thunder. What's a bit about the animations on this one, Ed?
Yeah, so this one, I really just wanted that
이번 시즌은 제가 건강하게 플레이하느라고
I've done a little bit of stuff.
자세히 모릅니다. 버그나 이거. 아직 나 캐릭터 65렙밖에 안 돼.
Just one that felt real good, and I wanted it in the game. It also gives this nice up in the air, like.
안 한지 뭐 3일이나 돼. 어제도 했는데.
And it just flows together really nicely. Like you can spam it, you can use it once, and it works in both occasions.
It was designed as a finisher, as it will spend power charges if you have them, but it's also just a fun to use area skill with some nice mobility to it.
Yeah.
This one is Killing Palm.
물결 상자 4개 까고
power charge generator. This is one of the few ways to generate power charges. Power charges are not a simple thing to just stack up rapidly when you need them, but they are giving more than double the damage for every charge on that Falling Thunder skill. So they're a huge damage boost, and they really reward you putting in the effort to finish off monsters with Killing Palm, as well as other power charge generating skills that have other similar non-reliable, more skillful conditions.
따라구랑 태미님이랑 교류를 좀 해봐야지.
You want to tell us how you created this totally realistic and normal martial arts move?
Yep. So a big challenge for this was doing. I was told it had to be unarmed damage. So he had to hit them with his hand while holding a big stick, which is a little awkward.
근데 엑자일콘 지금
The biggest challenge of
굳이
this
볼
was just
필요가
getting
없는 게
that stick
시험만
out of the
보면 돼,
way
시험만.
and making it not the main spectacle, making the palm the
다른
main
거는
thing
별로
you're
보고
looking
싶지
at.
않아.
Yeah, the unarmed attacks are a special.
마틸은 과연 해낼 수 있을 것인가?
And unarmed
지자라는
attacks, they can be
실패했는데.
used while you're holding a quarterstaff. They use your unarmed damage while your weapon's still in your hand. It's magic.
아쉽게도 지자라는 에이스가 아니었습니다.
This quarter
Yes,
staff,
yes.
right? Or is there anything about one hand empty, one like what about if you're holding like a base?
You need both hands to be.
Both hands, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a close look at the Wave of Frost skill. It's just a sick backflip, you know?
Yeah.
This is one of the things that led us into an early sort of, let's make something, what can you do with a staff? What's a cool monk ability? Let's get some last airbender stuff going on. And this led us into realizing how fun the mobility of the monk could be. This is one that really started feeling like, oh, you're a monk, you do this, you then whirling assault through the enemies, and it's just got this awesome mobile feel.
Yeah, this was playing around with evasive maneuvers, and I didn't really plan it, but if you use this in tandem with whirling assault, like it just blended together so nicely, and you like just with these two skills, we got a really good feel for how the monk would play, just kind of dancing around the battlefield.
And the effects artist did an amazing job.
아 몸이 약하구나 소선은.
Graphical programs as well. It's just
Look at that eye.
nice, nice. This is an old favorite Sunder. Big, punchy, pattern clearing damage, and we came to it with a thing of, hey, can you make a slam that looks good over maybe like 2 seconds? What can a character do for 2 seconds?
Yeah, so a big thing I wanted to try and avoid with the characters was with the big animations, not just holding a pose and shaking to build power. I wanted to make sure the character stayed alive and was doing something interesting. So yeah, I thought of the jump up in the air and the slam down and kind of work backwards from there. Another thing that this animation has, which isn't present in a lot of the slams, is he doesn't stick the hammer in the ground. The hammer bounces straight up, and that lets him get back into the next move like quite energetically. Again, keeps him alive. He doesn't stop and just hang out. Yeah.
This is another mace ability with a lot of mobility. It's really shows that even with a gigantic hammer, you can have fun just moving around the battlefield. The first hit has massive bonus stun damage, letting you leave enemies vulnerable to apply that massive damage from the second strike.
Yeah, and this one shows off the moving variant that I was talking about before. Like he just did it then, just a little like quick step as he's swinging the hammer back. This one just felt great real quick.
Oh shit!
Off his favorite. Also, just a small difference in this from previous animations is after he finishes the swing, he actually steps forward through. So the motion of the attack just keeps moving forward. There's no like forward, then back, then forward, then back, then forward. Yeah, it keeps. You just keep mowing through. It's great.
Now here's one of our in-progress animations. This started out as a staff animation, was that right?
Yeah, this is my first attempt of whirling assault. I was being quite restrictive with how it played, and Rory told me
보스를 못 잡겠다.
he has to move a lot further, so I came up with what it is now. But I still really like this animation, and I chucked a two-handed sword on it, and he reminded me of a certain white-haired monster hunter, and I thought that was really cool. So that's something we're working on.
I'm pretty sure we just saw this animation, like, yeah, this is a skill, okay, this is a sword trick now.
Sometimes it happens like that, yeah.
This is showing off some cool mobility that the Ranger will have. The Ranger is still quite static with their ranged attacks, but now they've got some cool tools that they can use to move around the battlefield when they need to.
Yeah, just playing with some backwards movement. Not much to say on this other than she used to do a backflip and that was a bit excessive.
I'm pretty sure the brief was like, what would Legolas do?
Oh yeah, and this one took a lot of iteration. Turns out just stabbing a guy is like tricky to get feeling right, while also being describable on a single skill gem. All the different attack times you could end up doing with it.
아 간다.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the visual demonstration I was given was just this. And I thought, surely I can do something cooler.
There's nothing that inspires the animators more than seeing how bad it would be if I was doing it.
A challenging thing with this actually was getting height variation. When your camera's very high up, striking at different heights is quite hard to read, especially when you're just dealing with arms. So the way I got around that was just moving it into the body. I was kind of thinking of Wing Chun kind of rapid punch style thing. Yeah, this one just feels real cool. It's fun to kill lots of zombies with.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's all the skills we have to show off right now. It's time for some questions. All right.
Hello again, everyone. So, there is a QR code up there behind me. It's pretty big, hard to miss. Go ahead and scan that if you want to send in any questions, and I will read them off here. The first question, very important one, we'll leave with a strong one. Does dodge roll work in towns?
I feel like I've seen that. Yeah,
I can answer yes, it does. I tested it.
I'm pretty sure it does.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, if being a bear
The
currently
real
works
question is, yes, can you be a bear in town? That's
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
Because yes, you can.
The real question is, can you dodge roll as a bear in town? And the answer to that is also
Also yes.
긴장 아니에요? 아
Maybe
이거
like a compilation, just a minute of the bear dodge.
한 달은 된 것 같다.
The QA is about the bear now. So just a clarification here, do we still get to use skills from other classes if we want to?
Yes, you can use any skill, any combination of weapons, all the elements, just all the things.
And sort of a lead-on from that is, I might be wrong in this bit of trivia, but I believe in PoE 1 the Templar is left-handed with a lot of his attacks and stuff, right? Is there still going to be room in PoE 2 for that sort of like individualized personality, like monk dodge rolling differently than other people, that sort of thing?
We have your technology.
Yeah, we can we can definitely have the capability of doing unique animations for the different characters.
I believe that what we're sort of doing is like if you've got, we're much more likely to make a unique animation for the class we would expect the animation to be on. So we'll probably have like quite a few of those for just like those cases, but then we're very unlikely to make a unique animation for like all the other classes that are not usually expected to use that skill. So they'll be able to do it, it's just they won't have that sort of unique flavor to them.
That does make sense.
Yeah, some characters have an additive layer as well, to just hold their shoulders differently or whatever. Their pose.
We've got a question here. How much control do players have over inbuilt movements on skills to support
엠소짜.
change the movement types? Or are there other ways for players to influence this mechanic?
We already have some investment on the tree to specialize in using your dodge roll in a different way for a dexterity character, but a lot of it...
There's also shift attack. Holding shift has some influence in some cases on some skills, but it's all very much like skill by skill. Like there's also now the ability, although we haven't really utilized that much, where they've got the skill options area in the skill screen. So if there are particular things we want to allow the player to specialize about a skill, so for example, the always shift attack button is now in there. So like, yeah, there might be a few cases where we want to add a few things like that, but yeah, it's really skill by skill. Like you don't know what you need to do on a skill until you've tried it.
Yeah, there's some of the skills already have custom behavior for targeting, like for example,
언제 끝나?
focus on a nearby
15분 남았어?
target, even if you target another
시연 좀 해줘, 시연 좀.
power charge, since that's usually what you're using it for.
Alright. Given so many skills have inbuilt mobility, is it then less important in some ways to scale attack and cast speed, or is that an equally valuable stat, would you say, as it is in PoE 1?
It's always going to offer you more survivability because you're going to get your hit out faster, but we're still giving plenty of mechanics that reward you for using slow attacks or...
But I mean, part of the idea is to make it possible to make a build that is slower.
Yeah.
어!
We want the fast builds too, but we also want to be possible to be slower.
미르다이어 PoE 안 해봤지?
Possible, really. I mean, there's some things we've done over the years to try and make that one thing. You know,
미르다이어 같이 열정적인 남자가 PoE를 하게 되면 어떨 모습일까?
it's just, you know, like we wanted to make it a lot more of an option.
it's rarely a bad idea to get a little bit more attack speed, but going out of your way to get it is nowhere necessary anymore.
Okay. Another question that's more of a clarification than anything else is you mentioned that skills are restricted by weapon type now. Does that mean
잠 못 잠이 아니라 쟤도 저거 디아 아낀지 방송 끄고도 디아 하고 있고
There are a few fancy spells, like the ethereal blade skills, you know, to use your daggers.
15만 원이냐 무료입니다. 스크스 오브
Most
엑자일은
spells are for any weapon type you want. They're a lot better with caster weapons.
Just for clarification, when you say ethereal, you mean ethereal knives?
Ethereal
that sort of
knives,
thing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Probably an internal name I wasn't aware of.
I don't think are there even any other spells that require weapon? I think it's just those knife ones, right?
We'll see when we get to the
이르다요 좀 어제 방송하는 거 봤는데 팝콘물 다 빠졌더라. 불과 한 5분도 안 되는 한 2, 3분 사이에 3번 연속으로 죽던데.
we already have some passives.
숨만 쉬면 죽던데.
Some way, so we're definitely going to have mechanics that affect it. We've yet to really lock in exactly
팝콘물 다
how
빠졌어.
far we'll go with that.
Unexplored space to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, it's Path of Exile. How can we stop ourselves from doing crazy stuff with think that we can do anything to?
Yeah, we're not very good at saying no. Well, programmers are.
모든 방어템을 뺐습니다.
Can the dual
그 정도로
specialization
의미가 없나요?
delay time be reduced by stats like attack speed or cast speed, or is that a fixed interval?
We are going to have stats specifically to increase the swap speed, and we'll look at different weapon types having different swap times as well. So it's easier to swap to lighter weapons than it is to a big heavy weapon.
I'm learning about that on stage.
I do have a thing that I forgot to mention during the talk, but I realize I want to show off, which is mana costs are not paid instantly at the start of the skill. They're paid over a time up to the point where the skill starts doing something, which does mean if you get stunned out or if you dodge roll out or you just cancel, you will save most of the mana, so you have much less of an issue of wasting all your resources, meaning it's okay for us to have larger cost skills, knowing that you're not going to lose it all if you get stunned out or you decide to change your mind at the last minute.
Yeah, just to clarify, like that system is just purely beneficial for the player.
안 해봤으면은
So
추천.
we've not got much time
한번
left.
해보는 거는 추천한다.
Which is on the gem crafting. How
물론
do
이제
Val
저는 안
skills
하긴 하는데.
interact with gem crafting? I don't know that we.
I think Val skills we probably don't like. Isn't there enough to say there? I think there might not be.
Not really, we want to do
안
some
해봤으면
real
좋죠.
cool stuff with them, and
Yeah, but
we're
it's
not
not.
lost
So
in
we're
yet.
probably not ready to talk about Val skills, I'd say. But it's definitely going to be. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah, we shouldn't really design them on the stage.
한번 맛보는 게 좋아. POE2 또
Alright, well, I think that
내년에
is our time
클베
for this
내후년에
talk, so
나오면
Awesome.
head on out.
Thanks everyone.
마티! 믿는다 마티. 지자라는 스트리머 중 최약체였지. 마틸은 다르다. 아, 보스들은 생각보다 별론데? 보스가 이 정도면 잘 잡는 건가? 아, 너무 많이 걸렸어. 오! 그럼 욕. 살아야 한다. 올라이트닝이 지금 좋은지 잘 모르겠네. 안방! 이거 어떡하지? 한 점 돌파가 안 되는데? 부적 앞에 몹이 있었어. 양놈들 채팅 치는 거 다 똑같네. 디아2랑 poe는 디아3, 디아4번. 왜 마틸이 처형식이라고 생각해? 여기서 마틸이 캐리를 한다면? 오늘 이게 그럼 마지막 시연인가? 배달의 민족 남은 시간 19분. 한국 사람은 저기 간 스트리머 없냐고? 일반 유저들은 많이 갔는데 스트리머들은 간 사람은 없어요. 모르지. 한국에서 더 흥했으면은 한국 사람들도 저희 한국 스트리머들도 보내주고 했겠지. 근데 많이 흥행하지 못해가지고. 저도 시청자 한 분이 경비랑 이거 데릴 테니까 같이 가자고 하더라고. 근데 제가 죄송한데 저 디아포 해야 돼가지고 못 가요 하면서 이제 거절했어요. 근데 가도 됐을 것 같아. 왜 그랬냐고? 씨발 이렇게 빨리 디아포가 식을 줄 몰랐지. 한잔 끼고 왔다. 그렇게요. 근데 저기 가면 놀러 가는 거라서 한 푼이라도 더 벌어야지 놀러 갈 시간이 어딨어. poe 1이랑 2랑 따로따로 운영한다고? poe 1 시즌을 계속 내겠다고? 야, 저 아닌데 에반데 그거는? 약간 보험 느낌으로 남겨놓는 것 같은데. 그러니까 시즌 안 겹치게 해가지고 그냥 폐지 천하 통일하겠다 이거야. 유저 이탈할 거면은 다른 게임으로 이탈하지 말고 2 하다가 1 하고 1 하다 2 하고 이렇게 해라 이거고 그 얘기야. 근데 좀 욕심이 크긴 하다. 그럼 포부는 좋긴 하네요. 아우 뜨끈뜨끈해. 왜 이렇게 뜨거워? 엄마야 씨. 영재콘 기절했나? 내 씨발 가방 두고 갔다고 얘기했는데 카톡 답장도 없네. 저거 언제 가지러 올 거야? 뭐 택배로 보내줘야 되나? 깨를 뿌리고 뭐 먹냐고요? 뼈다귀 해장국인데 무뼈입니다. 뼈 없는 뼈다귀 해장국. 나도 처음 먹어봐. 뼈 없는 뼈다귀 해장국은. 신박해요. 보니까 또 소주가 마렵긴 한데 당분간은 또 금주 기간이니까. 나 만 나이로 39살이냐? 모르겠다. 나이 몇 살인지 헷갈려 이제. 분명히 40살이었는데 법으로 바뀌어서 또 39살이 되고.
본인이 직접 한번 해봐야 돼. 이걸 해보지 않고는 그걸 잘 몰라. 서든어택이 어딨나. 그거를 직접 해본 다음에 그걸 느껴야지. 이렇게 뭐 방송에서 보거나 이런 것만으로는 절대 평가를 하면 안 돼요.
목소리가 안 칼리다고? 저 때랑 지금이랑 목소리는 거의 다른 거 없어. 마이크 차이야, 마이크 차이. 찍어 먹어야지 그래도. 에어컨을 처음 틀었다고? 또 뭘로 버텼어? 엑자일콘 지금 다 괜찮은데 시연이 지금 안 좋아요. 시연이 안 좋아. 아까 저기 지자란 대역이 나와가지고 플레이했는데 너무 개 답답하게 했어 게임. 존나 못함. 아까 플레이하는 거 보니까 그 학화는 유저의 무빙이 아니더라고. 잘됐다. 나 오늘 저기 유산소 가서 DP 봐야겠다. DP 시즌2 본 사람 재밌냐?
Hey guys, it's
왔다.
here once again, and slight technical difficulties there. Some genius pressed a button.
지자라는 스트리머 중 최약체였지.
We needed to relog.
역시 poe는 마틸이지.
Find the right person for the job. So today, going to be going through Path of Exile 2 demo, and I'm going to be jumping straight into Act 4 with the Warrior. It looks pretty intimidating, pretty cool though. Overall, it's just been a big overhaul day. I've heard that there's been some good stuff in the previous acts, so we're going to jump in.
워리어 소 헌트리스 좀 해줘. 헌트리스 뭐 했냐? 어떤 거
The
했냐?
new class is Warrior. Sounds beefy.
워리어?
King's March. Alright, so we start out, there's an Alva, there's apparently a good few directions to go in this act. Got our mini-map back, that feels pretty good. Just get my bearings. Okay, let's see what we got. Piles of gold, can spend at vendors. Interesting. Some physical damage on a crumbling mace. Warrior Great Helm, yep, bit of life, bit of everything. Pretty nice looking setup. Now, we press Alva.
Oh, King's March. It's been months since I had a bath. If you're looking to hire a
Months
ship,
since she had a
you'll want to
bath.
sell your share of these
야, 얘도 감
vast
없는데?
crops first. Talk to Rog.
저걸 다 보고
He's our
있겠다고?
buyer. I'll have to attend to a few things, but don't worry. We'll see each other again.
이거 다 읽어본다고?
Comes.
Talk to Rog. Alright, I think we need to check out a few other things. What do we got? Warrior, Scarlet Strike level 45, life per second. That's not a whole lot of life for a level 45 character. Something tells me we're going to be dying.
45레벨인데 피통이 900밖에 안 돼?
Bunch of minus chaos, some fire, cold res. That's nice. Pretty intuitive panel for your resistances. As we all know, we do need resistances in this game. What do we got here? Talk to Rog, Preacher.
Friend, I have urgent news for you. Time is short, and the unmaking of the world is nigh. Please, listen to what I have to say.
Go on.
Not interested.
All right. Apparently, we don't care. I like that. Perhaps I've already chosen my quest path there. Got a well. It's all up. Zanig, Rog. All right, where's that boy Rog?
얘 겁먹어 지금 안 나가는 것 같은데? 뒤자란처럼 만들려고
Hook me up, Rog.
I'm Rob, the local trade
좀
guild.
쫄아서 안 나간 거 아니야?
I'll take this haul off your hands and set up an account for you. This looks like quite the pile of treasure. It should be more than enough to hire a ship. The only captain available is new to the job, but I know her. Her name's Makoru. She'll get you where you need to go.
Alrighty. Hiring a ship. Purchase items. Has he got some stuff for us? Alright, you can use your gold and already grab some flasks or +3 to all cold spell skill gem stuff. Yo, is that just like God RNG if I needed this, or does everyone get one of these?
아니 워리어잖아
No,
워리어
we're good. Alright.
지팡이 그만 보고
Good day. I have a charter. Now, let's see about that
Come
ship.
back anytime.
Let's see about that ship. Where are we heading off? It's very alien doing things on someone else's PC setup and just the whole thing here live in person. Going over to Makoru.
We're looking for work, yes. If you have enough credit with the trade guild. Let me see here.
액트 포즈형 맞지?
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
배 타고 아 그런 거 없어
I can
이
take
게임
you
그런 게임 아니야
wherever you need. We'll set sail right now if you want.
Do we want? We could hit the set sail button? Yeah, sounds pretty. Oh my god. That's. some
어
serious
지도
business.
이렇게 돼
We go to
있구나
we just go wherever we want. Isle of Kin.
액트 사지형 맞았네
Soul fight sears the wind. Alright. The Karui dare the cliffs to prove themselves ready to be warriors. Shrike Island. We can go all the way to Eternal Prison. Something still clatters on the bars. That sounds pretty ominous. A tropical paradise settled by a friendly tribe. Countless ships lay broken upon the shoals. You know, I reckon we go real ominous like. Bizarro's Prison. Explore the prison. What do we got to work with here? Armor breaker. Attack with a forceful blow, knocking
방어
enemies back,
못하게?
weakening their armor. Requires a mace. Forceful blow, knocking back, weakening their armor. Okay. Rolling slam. That's a slow cast time. Big mana, yep. Spirit, yep. Ancestral boosted slams. Slam the ground to stun enemies and knock them away, then continuing forward and performing devastating second slam. Q supercharged slam. These are some big words. Channel to charge up a heavy swing, drawing earth from the ground to enlarge your mace. Release slam. Release to slam the ground, dealing damage in an area around the impact. Infernal Cry, pretty familiar with that one. Taunt some enemies, bunch of explosion afterwards. Leap Slam on E.
마틸은 저거 시연 시간 좀 더 길어요?
Not on
이
W.
친구는 한 1시간 하나?
Holy, that's got some impact to it. Bit of a wind-up time too. Alrighty. Sunder, pretty much the same Sunder as before, it feels like. Let's see. Jesus. So what do we got here? And that's ancestrally boosted, and then armor breaker. Yo, I'm gonna be dying. Now that's a big boy attack. Supercharged slam, attack time 1. So can we cancel? Oh, we can point it in a different direction. There you go. And Herald of Ash reserves all of my spirit, but looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can attack something without Herald of Ash to begin with. So we're just exploring the prison, are we? All right, straight in we go. Dude, I am not happy with how this
방금
is
살짝
going
당황한
so
것
far.
같은데? 아 씨발 게임
You
병신이다
gotta be
이거.
kidding. What is this thing? Extra cold damage and explosion.
아니 공격할 때 쳐맞으면은 이거 경직 걸려가지고 공격이 안 나가.
Look, some bullshit. That's all we got to say. I think we'll take our Herald of Ash now. All right, what do we got? Supercharged slam.
세팅은 만약 그런 거 경직을 막아주는 게 있으면 그거를 해준 상태에서 시연을 해야지. 이거를 지금
breaker, supercharged slam, infernal cry, leap slam, and then sunder. Maybe we need a sunder from a bit more long range. Need some strats for this.
페이지나 이런 걸 챙겨준 상태에서 시연을 해야지. 이거 너무 밀려.
Slow attack time there. I need to check out my flasks as well, to be honest. So reduced recovery, 25 recovered instantly while on low life, and then just a regular.
마틸도 잘 못해요. 스틸 메이지 없나? 스틸 메이지 시연 안 하냐? 기절한과 마틸은 약체입니다, 약체.
Within these walls, Lady Justice. Yep.
스틸 메이지가 와야지.
Oh yeah, and that's our dodge, is it? Maybe that could have saved my life earlier.
지금 마틸 최약체 안 되려고 시간 끌고 있잖아.
Any lab enjoyers in the chat? Oh, wait, no, we don't want to go there. How's that? One of those.
얘들은 원에도 있던 애들이네.
Things hit hard. I told you. It's just we don't have that much life.
조금 더 귀여워진 것 같기도 하고.
On this character. I reckon they stitched me up. You know me, I build a big life on my characters. And I don't, it's not my intuitive style here to be a bit on the lower end of life. Gotta pull some levers. What are we opening? I don't know if we want to open any more at the moment. Let's press a big Q. How's that look? Double hit. So we're armor breaking, knocking back.
야, 모았다 패는데도 한 방에 안 죽네.
It's always pretty weird picking up someone else's build as well. Okay. Maybe I jump in and not die? Wait, what's happening here? Pasted. Okay. Jumping over.
죽겠다. 괜찮니?
I'm getting out of here. Wait, what's the dash like? Okay. It's honestly kind of different to the usual PoE gameplay, and it's pretty difficult to control, it feels.
아, 느릿느릿하다.
Big attack, big smash. Let's pick up some of these items. This guy's getting rezzed, or am I blind? Again, mace, lockdog.
디아포보다 템포가 더 느린 것 같아요.
pressing some buttons real quick.
뭐 세팅이 덜 되고 시연이고
Doesn't
이래서
unleash
그런 걸 수도
anything? No, we're
있는데
good. Okay. Is that gonna be for my single target then? Knocking and weakening their armor. What does that even mean? Like that.
좀 답답해.
The sensitivity on the mouse is a bit lower than I'd like, and that's kind of why we had the technical difficulties. I was trying to change that. Big slam. All right, not bad, not bad. So where are we headed to? Let's get a mini-map overlay happening. I do love my mini-map overlay. I'm just kind of not used to it anymore from a certain other game I was trying and then ultimately not in love with.
아니야. 45렙쯤 되면은 졸라 빨라.
We're still exploring prison. Okay. Jump in and then hit him with a barrel roll. Hit him with a barrel roll. Okay, so you're not rolling through enemies. That's interesting. I thought maybe you could like just cheese your way through.
제일 큰 문제가 공격 모션이랑 스킬 사용할 때 모션이 너무 커요, 동작이.
Get more in tune with my attacks,
근데 목별이 그거 안 기다려주거든.
Coming across some serious business soon, I imagine. So how am I going to do that? Him with an arm? Okay, Sunder's pretty powerful. It's honestly not too wrong to just be a Sunder build right now. Jump in with him with one of these and then combo him with one of these. Alright, not bad. And these necromancers, they are going off. Who's resin at this point? Who? What the? Alright. Feels like, I need to move on a little bit. Actually, I see. Wait, there's one more. And I think I missed some others.
헤라드 켜졌어.
Some hot steaming lab action if ever I've had any. A pointed mole. Is there any chance that without anything is going to be better? I'd say there's a chance. 36.54. It's not too far off. Have I got any currency?
아니 제발 저런 거
Okay, that could have gone better.
우린 딱 현실적으로 하자. 디아포 시즌 나오면 재밌어도 이거랑 다를 게 뭐가 있어. 애초에 엑자일콘이고 시연 영상이고 우리한테 뭔가 이거를 홍보를 하고 보여주는 자리인데 일부러 저렇게 느릿느릿하게 세팅을 했다고?
GG noob. And we got one more lever over here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified of coming across a boss right now. Because I am not ready. We got one of them somewhat Z DPS builds right now. So you know I didn't build this character. Would have blasted through by now. What's this guy got? Caustic Orb on death. It's actually pretty good that you can really notice he's definitely a little special. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna hit him with a Q. Okay. Straight again. Let's see what these Caustic Orbs look like. Ah, the usual ones, okay.
그래도 지자랑보다는 좀 깔끔하게 진행하는 것 같은데? 처음에 한번 죽은 거 빼고는?
저렇게 느려도 네임드도 한 방에 터지면 모르겠는데 네임드는 나름 또 3에서 4방씩 잘 버티네.
Jump on him for no good reason. Hit him with another huge attack.
세팅 좀 웃기는데 임마 방금 무기 파템 끼고 있었음. 얼탱이가 없네.
It's the mouse sensitivity, I'm telling you. Alright, what's the knight armor? Big fancy looking armor.
표이 원에서도 저 레벨 때
So
파템
that's
뼈.
a pure fire damage axe, okay. Crossblade spear, alright.
운 좋아야 레어 끼고 막 하는 거지.
We'll keep exploring so you can see me die to a proper boss, I think. Because, that's for sure gonna happen. That seems to be a decent attack, right click. Leap out of here, barrel roll through there. Okay. Let's press that. Let's try and press that. A mail belt. Reduced flask charges used. You gotta be joking.
잼 세팅은 아직 안 보여줬어.
Implicit on that belt. Huh. Get me one of those right now. Alrighty. Ah, that's a locked door. It's alright, we're chilling. Yeah, these rats do not mess around. In the initial announcement, Neon did almost die to a few of these. It looked pretty lethal. And yeah, I think I got scammed at the very start of this playthrough. Basically just a pack of unkillable mobs. How far in we going? All the way. Okay, hit him with space, not too shabby. Oh boy. I feel like we're getting somewhere. Huge leaps in that. Solitary confinement. Ooh. What do we got here? Nothing? Okay. This can only end in tears.
Leaving prisoners to drown. Monstrous.
Uh-huh. Oh god. Okay, no, this is fine. Come on, man. I was winding
방금
up.
점프하다가 귀싸대기 맞은 거 봤냐?
How are you gonna slap me like that? Whoa. What do I do?
뭐야 이거 뭐야?
Just pure environmental?
저 물 뭐야?
This is a temporal proximity bubble. Oh my god. Dude, I am getting wrecked right now. This may be one of those we shouldn't fight this thing style situations.
물약 이제 안 남았어. 질 것 같은데?
Strong for me. I'm about to run out of flasks. All right, tactical retreat.
도망친다.
Something else.
야 그거 잡아도 물약 안 채워줘 이제. 이 지자랑 하는 거 안 봤네 이거.
Tactical retreat. Do a barrel. Do another barrel roll. Hit him with a barrel roll. Get out of there. Oh, this is. So this is a huge boss, right? Like act boss. It, I reckon got to be an Uber.
근데 피찬다.
Game pieces of content. We're already here. Surprisingly.
말티는 다르다.
Wait, no. Flasks. We still need flasks. I said flasks. Wait, what's he doing? Okay, yep, dodge that. We've got a flask. Ah! That wind up.
글로 가면 안 될 것 같은데 반대쪽으로 가야 될 것 같은데.
That's how it's done. Alright, we got half a flask or something.
뭐야 물약 차네.
Got this. This guy, absolutely ridiculous.
아니 맞짱 비싸대게 만들고 왜 이렇게 웃기냐 이거.
That is unreal. All right, what do we got here? Not a huge upgrade, wouldn't you know it? Explore solitary confinement. I mean, I'll keep checking it out, but I feel like we are in a world of hurt. What the? I think we went the distance on that one. All right, that feels good. These guys are gonna explode. Okay. Okay. No, they don't. Or at least, yeah, no, there they do. I'm scared to stand still right now. It's got to be Sunder. That's how it's done. Alright, we're exploring. We need to get messed up. Pretty cool zone though, like what is with this water? Does it slow us down or anything? Or is it just pure environment for environment's sake? 'Cause it looks stunning.
바닥에 물 차는 거 효과 저런 거 신기하긴 하는데
These guys are lethal. I think I just got fully scammed on the rare mobs that I had to come
맥만 걸리지
across.
않을까?
Oh god. Trying to barrel roll out of here. Nope, 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 nope. Leap slam out of that. Okay, big clutch stun on that one. I like it. Cannot believe
아 땡기는
how
거 저 존나
overtuned those
웃기네.
guys are. I'm calling for nerfs already. Oh my word.
오 많다.
You gotta be kidding me. Hit him with a Sunder. Hit him with a... Hit him with a... What's going on?
아 개웃기다 이거 진짜. 몬스터 살려줬어.
Yeah, this is going great, isn't it?
이걸 욕을 안 해?
Can I hit him with one
대단하다.
more attack? Okay, nice. I'd say we got to be getting close to a boss or something, but let's be real. Everything I've fought so far is a boss. So I've farmed like what 100 bosses by now.
워리어라 살았다.
I'm going for it. Okay, a door. That's promising. Nice little lever here. So that's got to be a checkpoint, right?
Must be hard to contain.
Which means that when I inevitably don't die right now, I could get teleported back and start from there. So that's good news.
쪼랩 시험 말고 완성된 빌드 한번 보고 싶은데. 오 멋있다.
God. Alright, so what do we do here? Oh. Wait, what do the switches do? Let's press one. Should we stab him? I see.
오 멋있다 멋있다.
I need to keep him still, I believe we've said. Oh
야
my
데미지
God.
봐라. 못 잡을 것 같은데?
Okay. Right, but how do I do that? Do I have to drag him over from one end to the other? Dude. Alright, we'll go one more. Get a big attack in. Face tank. I mean, that'll go next time, right? That is some intense action. I think that's all we have time for, though. Unfortunately, didn't get as far as I'd like, but that is a beautiful world to go through. And hey, I hope we can all experience.
POE 1이랑
Thank you
너무
very much
다르다
for watching,
게임.
and enjoy the rest of the show.
그러면은 지지지에서 일부러 지자란이랑 마티를 연맥이려고 저렇게 세팅한 다음에 시연시킨 거네. 맞지? 그런 거지. 그렇게 생각해도 되는 거야? 아이고. 아우. 그 시연을 보통 세팅을 된 걸 시켜줘야 되는 거 아니에요? 왜 세팅을 안 된 걸 시켜줘? 근데 그게 조금 이상한데? 아 근데 저거 poe 1이랑 좀 느낌 많이 달라. 다크 소울이랑 엘든링 느낌 났어 진짜. 오히려 핵앤슬인데 진짜 닥소나 엘든링 느낌 났어. 완전히 딴 게임이야. 그러면 이제 문제는 저거지. 기존에 폐지 줍던 애들이 좋아하느냐, 저런 템포를 과연 견딜 수 있느냐.
(6랭크) 된 완성 스킬은 아니어도 3에서 4랭크 정도 되는 완성되어가는 스킬은 어떤지 보여줘야 하는 거 아닌가?
아까 디저런이 3링크 보여줬어. 심지어 스페레코까지 먹었는데 그걸 제대로 사용을 못하고. (3링) 아니었고 2링이었다고? 야, 뼈 없는 뼈다귀 해장국인데 뼈가 나왔어. 이거 어떡해? 전화해야 되냐? 뭐 이빨 나갔으면은 이거 고소하고 환불받을 잠만 있으면 되지. 이빨 부러졌다고 하고 맘카페에 올려. 양아치냐? poe2 그러면은 시연은 끝인가? 이게 더 보여주는 거 없나? 아, 아쉽네. 헌트리스 보고 싶은데. 헌트리스 오후 1시 타임에 또 있어. 오후 1시 타임에? 오후 12시 반부터 오후 1시까지.
근데 너무 게임 속도가 느려서 포1이랑 너무 비교돼서 서든어택 2처럼 돼버리는 거 아닐까요?
모르겠어요.
The lines are so long here at 엑자일콘, and what I've seen so far that Chuz showed me ahead of time here, I am really excited for. So should we just jump right in?
I think just jump into it.
Okay, so this
근데
is my
제가
first time seeing any
생각했던
of this.
poe2랑은
Although I
조금
did get a little bit of a
느낌이
heads
달라요.
up from Trev.
오,
Little tip
모바일인가
is I
보다,
should play
이거는.
either the Marauder or the Sorceress if I want a little bit of an advantage. And as someone who really wants to try some Path of Exile 2 related content especially, we're going to be going with the Sorceress. But I will pop up the Marauder because I have questions about melee especially. All right. So sorceress, intelligence, and cast spells. That's what I like. Okay. What did she was a dangerous political dissident.
Yeah, so we kind of themed each of the characters with a crime, because you actually start off in the Colosseum, and it's all part of like the storyline with Dominus, kind of basically looking for someone to
POE 저거
do his missions.
컨셉이 캐릭터들이 다 범죄자 새끼들이야.
It's not a beach.
It's not a beach. Yeah. And can you comment on the relationship between mobile's story and theming compared to Path of Exile 1 and 2?
Yeah, so mobile is a prequel, so it's basically set before both Path of Exile 1 and 2, and it's kind of like an origin story kind of theme with Dominus and Valdo, obviously going to shape it. So yeah, it's kind of got a nostalgia factor for existing players, so they're kind of like they recognize it, but it's also completely
게임이 되게
for mobile.
다크해, 어두워.
Very cool. All right. And
디아 족가면서 디아보다 더 암울하고 다크하게 만들었어.
So does that mean there's going to be challenge leagues and everything?
Yep, the leagues are planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, we're keeping exactly the same model. So.
로딩 화면은 왜 똑같냐?
All right. All right. Yeah, we're just following this is my first time seeing any of that. Following the tutorial. Here we go.
Yeah. I think very much like last time, I'm not going to say much. I just want you to kind of experience it.
Okay.
프레임이 아 휴대폰 좀 좋은 걸로 시연해. 뭐 이런 걸로 해.
Get ready for battle. Loot the weapon rack. Okay.
잘 안 눌리는 것 같은데요?
Enter the arena.
There's a problem with mobiles, thumbs.
Yeah.
More than simply survive. You must impress my lord.
Okay.
아 지금 뚝뚝 끊기는데?
Alright, so
이거 맞아? 아, 나 취소하고 휴대폰 바꿔.
So this is basically the first tutorial step. Like we're trialing a lot of the kind of tutorials. Actually, we're using 엑자일콘 to trial it and see what people think. But like we've actually added like moments where we pause the gameplay so you can kind of see like tutorial tips.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. All right, so it looks like. Can you comment on the flask?
아, 휴대폰을 바꿔서 시연을 해야 되는 거 아니야 이거?
The flask system.
So flask system is paralleling Path of Exile 2. So like you have available flasks. With regards to kind of your health and your flask recovery, you still actually have to visit wells to recover them. So each town will have a well in that you actually recover your flask from. So.
Okay, so a little ruthless taste in there, huh?
Yeah. It's I guess it's a kind of a subject of contention. Like so we're again just experimenting.
Wait, hold up. This is Dominus?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
A little bit younger.
All right.
리허설을 안 했다고? 도미누스.
Virtue gem, huh? All right, I mean, I'm just gonna be absorbing as much lore as I can here because this is all new to me. Okay.
So
화면 캡처렉이다?
Yeah, we've worked tirelessly on the menu system, trying to, because obviously the scope of Path of Exile, the amount of like currencies and just the inventory itself, it's been really like a real challenge to actually kind of get all of the content onto a mobile device. So what you're seeing here parallels Path of Exile 2 with regards to design, but obviously we've deviated from mobile just so so it suits the platform.
This better be worth it.
Okay, we're going back in the arena.
내가 되게 부정적인 마인드를 가진 사람인가? 요새 보면은 자꾸 부정적인 생각을 하고
softcore mechanics right away.
내가 잘못된 건가?
All right, let's get back in there. We kind of resetting this now.
Yes. The tutorial resets.
Gotcha.
I suggested.
I play an easier character. Okay, my fault. I got seduced by the sorceress.
아니 기준이 높아져서 그런 게 아니라 이렇게 큰 행사인데 이거를 준비를 안 하고 이렇게 했다는 거는 말이 안 되지.
I'll just do the regular thing that I do on a regular league start, and we'll just we'll spam past everything really quickly to catch up.
Like Path of Exile 2, yeah, the dodge.
Oh, we actually have this dodger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I wasn't going to tell you. I was like,
You're just gonna let me die, and then okay. All right, I see how it is.
화영구도 지금 저기 방패다 날리고 있어. 맥걸려서 저러는 거 아니야? 벽에다 대고 지금 계속 방패에다 대고 화영구 날렸어.
And for our accounts and all of that, is there going to be API connectivity similar to like, are we going to be able to support stuff with third-party tools just like Path of Exile 1 and 2?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to kind of introduce new features, like, for example, in the skill tree, we're discussing actually having a template system within the skill tree as a social feature as well, to be able to share your builds with your friends. But again, there's no sort of, we're not stopping players from obviously using websites and that to build that, so.
I was just going to see if I could boost myself here a little bit in the tutorial. All right, I'm staying behind all these guys first.
Yeah.
All right, and I see it has all of the new Path of Exile 2.
Like Path of Exile 2, you've got your default attack, so with the staff. So when you run out of mana,
then we just go the default fireball that gets equipped. Yep. I see.
But you are about to get a mana flask, so.
Okay, and then on the
first
right.
two steps of the tutorial are really just introducing one step at a time.
이거 좀 대참사인데?
Finale coming up.
Gotcha. Okay. I will try very hard not to die this time.
Your final trial. The ordeal ahead will ensure only the strongest survive. But you must be cunning as well. My aid will provide you with what you need.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently the feed for this is getting a bit stuttery, so we apologise for that. But generally speaking, the game is fine. It's unfortunately just the feed.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. It feels fine. I can tell you, it feels fine in the on the actual phone. Okay. Just gonna hang out, let these buddies take all the damage.
Should I give you a tip? Like maybe
I'll take all the tips.
Take the punishment first.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah. If you got any game facts tips, let me know.
내 얼굴이 왜 다 화끈해지지 지금? 왜 나 얼굴이 지금 너무 화끈거려.
Got it. Now, is there like a general kind of auto-targeting for our character here as what I'm facing?
Basically paralleling the console for targeting. There is some advanced kind of skill features that are specific for mobile as far as targeting with the touchscreen, but I think that's something we'll talk about at another time.
Okay.
A bit more detail.
Okay. All right.
Another tip.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, so
okay.
Just be ready.
All right, so I'm going to immediately equip this gear that I got. We're going to take our time, level up, pretend like we're playing hardcore. Must identify items. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so
화면 출력이 잘 된다고 하기에는 저 손이 지금 부드럽게 가지 않으냐? 저것도 끊겨야 되잖아. 이렇게 원래 손출력이면은.
Oh,
손을 이렇게 쓱 가 지금.
Yeah.
Who
again? That's not a.
Who pushed that for?
손출력이 걸리면 저것도
Can we get
이렇게
that?
끊겨야 돼.
It's basically so like with regards to like people interacting with towns a bit more. So
Yeah. No.
Kind of putting more things in town just so you get that level of interaction.
That's a great feature. Okay. And then to equip it, go here.
이민우 공감하라고.
Got it.
나 로아 안 해.
And
나 로아 안 해.
All right, I think we're good.
로기견 아니야,
We're
로기견.
gonna use the life flight. You said you warned me. All right.
A powerful display of collaboration. Unfortunately, I only need one of you.
Turns out my buddies are not so good buddies.
Yes.
Got it.
킬 데몰.
Yeah. I'll just get. I'll just get some loot while they fight each other here a little bit. Oh man, they hit hard. Oh shit.
아 씨발 안돼 보여주지 마. 안돼 그거 보여주면 안돼. 안돼 보여주지 마.
폰이 없어요.
Yeah, kill him. Oh, your health.
You guys like hard games, huh?
Yeah. Should be able to finish him more.
Alright.
그걸 왜 카메라를 왜 잡았어 그거를?
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, Dama's my new man.
I have a special task for you. You may earn your freedom.
송출내기 저 그냥 아니다 뭐 어떻게 얘기할 필요
Just
없다.
say goodbye.
아까 휴대폰 뭐였냐? 아이폰이었지?
I won't.
아이폰이었지? 그래 갤럭시였으면 괜찮았을 거야.
I'm always tempted to take the troll option.
순양의 휴대폰이었으면은
Alright. Assign points. Alright, cool. Very smart. Very smart. Yep, don't overwhelm people right away.
송출내기 아니야 이러면서 보여준 거야? 내 잘못 아니라고 하면서 보여준 거야?
So yeah, you have to cancel that one.
Yeah, give me the damage. Always damage. We already established this as softcore.
So for this, just to make sure you do the right thing, it's like tap hold. So.
Okay, and now.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here is just a demo skill tree. So obviously this isn't final.
애기 패시브 노드네.
The starting off trees for each of the characters.
All right, I won't spend that. I want to like look at every single one.
We're not intending to have
okay,
final
yeah.
skill tree.
I'm so tempted to look at every single one. My poe patch notes brain is going wild right now.
I am Dominus, Adjunct Inquisitor of the Templar Order. This laboratory is the workplace of Chief Archon Valdo Caesarius.
And we get Valdo.
Quite
All
possibly
right.
the most intelligent man in Oriath. Valdo and his benefactor came to this place not long ago. Both went missing soon after. We must discover the truth of what happened to you.
Oh, he's so young.
one thing I'm noticing is I think the connection with Apple TV is causing some stuttering.
Is that what's causing the stuttering?
Yeah.
친구랑 같이 멀티가 야 옆에 움직이지 마라 괜히 왔다 갔다 하지 마라.
Once you got to here, so I think the Apple TV is a problem. Just to be kind of clear.
A strange device in this laboratory.
Oh, this looks very familiar. I know where I am.
Considering that both men disappeared from this building without being seen, I think the implication is obvious.
I have a feeling we're going to be doing maps soon.
I mean,
I've already sent some of my.
It was a logical decision for us to use the Atlas for mobile, just so you've got that very quick ability to jump in, do a map, and out again. So
자막이 지금 매끄럽게 올라가지잖아.
Yeah, we'll use that. You also have the Atlas map, which we use as an inventory as well as a progression map. So it was a very logical decision considering the size of the screen and what you have to work with on mobile. So.
You will have your freedom. His benefactor has some value as well. Keep me apprised. Anything you find.
Select one reward.
There is only one.
저 파란색 하우스는 뭐냐?
Yeah, the new. I noticed that in the card game, the new transmutation art is very appealing. A lot of people on Reddit and Twitter have been raving about it, and they're really excited about it. Very, very cool. Okay, and we got a map device here.
와, 맵 디바이스도 있네.
We have our apothecary. I'm too poor. All right.
그냥 감안하고 보세요. 중소기업 게임이야, 중소기업 게임. 중소기업 게임이고 중소기업 행사예요. 그런 거 감안하고 보셔야 돼요.
How many times can I die doing this demo? Interesting. Wait, hold on. What are these folks doing here?
Oh, that's all the players upstairs.
Real? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're actually just on a live server.
아까 너무 많이 오시는 거
wow.
어떻게 웃긴 걸? 아 개발자들도 웃잖아.
You guys are real ballsy.
웃긴 걸 어떡해?
Hello there. I can activate this
A young island. Yeah, this is. I mean, the poe1 nostalgia is already like.
Wherever it goes.
And a throwback to the old.
아 근데 모바일인데도 맵 디바이스랑 아틀라스랑 다 있네.
Definitely hitting those buttons.
So in Act 1, we want to slowly introduce the mechanics. So Act 1, you're literally kind of following orders and you're going on each of these maps. But then, like in Act 2, then we start introducing you can pick maps up, you find them, and then you can start actually. It's a little bit more kind of sort of dynamic as far as like there is a quest path, but you can sort of jump between maps to resolve it basically. So. And then, kind of, as we progress even further, like into sort of beyond Act 3, you can then start actually sort of applying currency in that to your maps as well. So we just slowly introduce it, just so people can get familiar with the concepts. So.
What are you doing? We have no time to waste.
All right, let's get mapping. All right, who are these guys? There's Dominus.
Veneris.
Yep, that's Veneris. Wow. So I'm just like fawning over the all the lore and the characters.
So all of the content we're using is actually Path of Exile 2 assets. Obviously, we need to tailor it, and like kind of optimize it for mobile. So that's the process we're constantly going through and still going through at the moment. So yeah, we want it to look like a AAA game, and I think we're getting there. We're heading that direction. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love Path of Exile 1, but like even the mobile version with the poe2 assets, it's pretty striking. Now, is there a way for me to make this mini map? Okay, all right, +1 points right there.
So you can actually use it as a joystick, so you can pan around the map.
Oh wow. Okay.
어떡해.
Alright, yeah, I
내 걸려서 바로 앞에 못 잡아.
3 days ago, I was playing Tornado Shot with the Mage Blood. I gotta recalibrate.
어떡해.
Oh, and I gotta get into the habit of hitting that well every single time too, right?
So again, yeah, it's definitely a point of contention, but you know, we are paralleling and sticking to Path of Exile 2 as close as possible. Like, yeah, the goal was to zero compromise with regards to the mobile. So yeah, we want everyone to have the same kind of experience that they had on the PC.
And regarding loot and everything on the ground and picking it all up, are
근데 이거
there
계속
any
하네.
unique features of that in Path of Exile Mobile? Unique challenges with all of that? Loot filters, for example?
Loot filters is something that's on the cards. We're obviously trying to solve the problem with regards to the amount of drops. But in general, as far as like usability and like friendly play, like you can actually tap items on the screen that are visible and to pick them up, as well as using the actual action button to pick them up. So you don't actually have to run around to physically pick stuff up. As long as they're in line of sight, there's no obstacles in the way.
All right, more passive points.
패시브 노드랑 이것도 조그맣게라도 다시 가져왔는
And will the
거거든.
loot filters be... I mean, a lot of this might not be sorted. I'm already thinking like, okay, supporting loot filters for the general populace, sharing them with each other. Like, what's the relation there of,
It's still yet to be decided, but it definitely will be loot filters.
Okay. Never sync? Get on that. Yeah, I already saw that he tweeted like, oh, Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 filters, and now Path of Exile mobile filters. And now we might need Path of Building. We might be 3 different Path of Buildings now too. Oh man. Can I use the potions
근데
on the right side as
저는
well?
You can, yeah.
저는 이해해요.
Good, because yeah, I want to be like.
If you're running.
Yeah, I want to run away. And use
중소기업이라서
them. Yeah, yeah.
That's why we opted for using the orb as well, so it's that you can switch between the two.
I like that. And are the controls customizable in terms of placement or anything?
Yep.
Or?
Yep.
Okay.
You can actually just adjust the HUD. What I was mentioning before about the kind of advanced skill use is we have a D-pad.
아 왜 보고 있어 임마. 토하는데 밥 먹다 토했는데 왜 보고 있어. 나가 임마.
We have a system where it allows you to swipe in the direction on the screen. So you equip them into the D-pad slots, and then it basically means that you've got targetable skills.
Oh, okay.
We opted for that
그렇게
system rather than actually having a press hold and a directional target. Primarily just because of the pace of the game for Path of Exile. It's like, yeah, you need very fast response for your skills. So yeah, there's basically a system where you can just swipe on the screen. The reason I'm mentioning that is like when you can customize and tailor your HUD, you can actually scale the size of the joystick area as well. So it means you've got larger screen space for doing your targetable skills and stuff like that. So we've made it as customizable as possible. Sorry, I'm distracting you.
Yeah, I look up for 1 second. I'm almost dead already. Okay. Yeah, I want to talk to this this quest NPC in the middle of my map. What is he doing? Doesn't he know this is Path of Exile? I just want to run strand and run to the end. What's going on, buddy? All right. What's he got to say?
Our squad was ambushed. I must get word to the Inquisitor. I doubt I'll last much longer out here alone. Help me!
I'd recommend aid.
Did you recommend it? Okay, I mean...
But it's your choice. It depends how you're feeling.
We gotta kill. We gotta kill. Sorry, we gotta kill this out. I'm sure Twitch chat.
다른 모바일 게임이랑 차별화하는 거는 그냥 이거는 PoE를 휴대폰으로 가져온 거야.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should listen to the developer and not be some troll QA guy just trying to break the game and make everyone feel bad. Yeah, I do have to say it's a shame about the Apple TV stuttering because when it's not stuttering, it generally does feel really, really responsive and good.
Well, hopefully we'll see you upstairs.
Yeah, I'm 100% going upstairs right after this. After I get some lunch. All right.
Yeah, same.
All right, I definitely. Oh, I got to do it though. This is my mission.
지금 이게 휴대폰이 게임을 감당을 못하는 거야.
Alright, Portal Scrolls create checkpoints.
아직은 아이폰 14? 아이폰 14로는 못해요 지금.
Alright.
아이폰 한 16은 나와야지 지금 돌아갈
I mean,
거야.
this is feels great so
그치.
far. Is there anything else that you think I should get to here?
답은 초전도체랑 답이라고?
You barely even looked at my game. What are you talking about?
So yeah, basically we left it as an open-ended
휴대폰이
demo,
게임을
so the
감당
only thing
못하는
that's
거지.
restricting is the battery life, so people can play as long as they want upstairs.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And are there any plans for any time frame we could talk about right now? Demos or anything?
We're paralleling Path of Exile 2, so
okay.
Obviously, you know, Big Brother, so we can't really talk about sort of timings of release or anything like that until we're happy with like where that's at. So yeah.
Okay.
아 진짜 13비들 다리 꼬는 거 외국 애들 야 다리 꼬는 거 왜 이렇게 불편해하냐 주머니에 손 넣는 거라.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for watching and
유교 선비들
following
진짜.
along. I'll be upstairs playing for anyone that's here at ExileCon. Thank you guys.
Cool. Thanks.
아치 한국 애들이 그러면은 좀 저 문제 있는 거 아니고 이렇게 할 수 있는데 좀 외국 애들이야 외국 애들. 감상평 해달라고요? 뭐 감상평을 해? 감상평 할 게 뭐가 있어? 휴대폰은 좋은 걸 써야 됩니다. 저는 갤럭시를 쓰죠. 다음 시간 뭐냐? 이제 뭐함? 인터뷰? poe2는 지금까지 본 걸로 봤을 때 좀 애매해요. 시연으로 더 보여줘야 돼. 지금 보여준 거는 너무 애매해. 기존의 그런 템포 빠른 poe 느낌이 아니야. 아까 저거 보고 조금 놀란 게 레버 당기는데도 캐릭터가 이렇게 땡기더라고. poe에서는 그냥 클릭하면 자동으로 딱 됐거든.
가운데 저런 최적화로 꿋꿋하게 시연 다하면 수치심이 엄청 몰려올 텐데 프로는 프로다.
엑자일콘 저거 돈 주고 사람들 보러 간 건데 어떻게 계속 시간 버티긴 버텨야지.
죽기 전엔 가르다 쇼프 1단계 진입하겠죠?
가르다 쇼프가 뭐예요? 모르겠어요. 어때요? 여러분들이 봤을 때 아까 poe2 시험 봤을 때 괜찮은 것 같아? 나는 이 되게 긴가민가하다 좀 게임. 너무 막 느리고 답답하고 애매해.
센세 오늘 더 볼 거 없습니다. 내일 8시에 크리가 30분 시연하고 내일 10시에 쇠법사가 시연한답니다. 내일 오시죠.
아 오늘은 끝이야? 끝났대. 드롭스 다 받으셨어요? 드롭스? (12시) 만에 한 번 더 남았다고 들었는데? 하나 더 있다고 들었어. 오늘 더 없어? 아까 여기 자막으로 12시 반 뭐 해가지고 있었는데? 아 여기 자막이 아니다. 채팅창에서 누가 했었다. 채팅창에서 얘기했었네. (30분) 거리 보자.
미안합니다. 오늘 12시 30분에 브리치 게이밍에서 또 30분 한답니다.
괜찮아요.
미안합니다.
브리치 게이밍이 뭐지 근데?
Hello, Exiles. I hope everyone is staying sane. I'm Kitten Cat Noodle, and I'll be interviewing Matt about the narrative of Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2. How's it going so far?
스트리머 채널 이름을 처음 들어보는데?
ExileCon is amazing. We've been looking forward to this for years at this point, and here we are finally.
Yeah, literally years in the making. 2019, you know, has anything changed since then?
Oh, since 2019, absolutely. So people here back then played just Act 1, and Act 1 actually hasn't changed that much for this demo, but everything after is completely different shape. So the first thing I did, they hired me basically to write the story for Path of Exile 2 and shape, you know, what we're doing, where we're going, why we're doing it. And when I landed, we had absolutely no idea, nothing in mind whatsoever. Like there was some talk, you know, of like all the characters from poe1, bringing that back and building off that. But then after a whole bunch of different ideas, like whole shapes, I wrote like maybe like 40 different documents that were all multiple pieces of like, here's a full storyline for Path of Exile 2. It would take me like a day or 2 days to figure out, and then be like, no, that's not right. Okay, fair enough. And we just keep going at it, keep iterating. And so when we had ExileCon 2019, we had one image for what might come, and then there was a whole bunch of question marks for like Act 4, question mark, Act 5, question mark. You know, so that's definitely all been figured out now, and we have made so much more progress. So people here today are playing most or a big chunk of Acts 2, 3, and 4. I'm so very happy with where they landed.
It's going to be so difficult to decide what to play, or I'll just bully people to get out of line to play all of them.
Go back, play all of them, because they're so proud of what we've done here. They're fantastic, and honestly, I got everything that I wanted, because there's always a struggle between mechanics and writing.
감이 있다면 헌트리스를 해야지.
Get this story, and they're like, but the mechanics. But no, we actually managed to get both because we've had enough time to do that and fuse those two things together.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So, how much of poe2 are we going to be taking from poe1? Like, is it a continuation of our story, or is it so far, I guess it's 20 years in the future, is it so far that besides the history, does anything our Exile does now go into poe2?
Oh, absolutely. So the whole world is shaped by those events, for sure. They are new.
저는 뼈 잡고 먹었어요.
Classes are new people, but the legacy of the Godslayer and the tremendous disasters of basically killing the beast and changing everything forever. And as we saw, the Countess speaking there in that trailer at the beginning.
Oh, the Countess, is that her name?
I mean, that's just the general title.
Okay.
So she spoke about how she's witnessed divine devastation, you know, the effect that the gods have had on Wraeclass since they've returned. And so the legacy over the last 20 years of poe1 is framing everything that happens now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I suppose messing with Eldritch powers, fighting gods, it might have some level of consequence for future events.
Absolutely.
That checks out. So speaking of that, now that we know that we have a year about until Path of Exile 2 comes out, are the leagues that we are going to see related to or building up to what we're going to do in PoE 2?
See, that's a difficult question to answer, but I can say from my perspective, so I've been working on Path of Exile 1 leagues and Path of Exile 2.
아, 메테오 너무 느리다,
Primarily Path of
진짜.
Exile 2. So at times we have had another writer. There was a Nick Colin who was here somewhere. There was a Nicholas Treadwell as well for various points, and they were mainly on Path of Exile 1 leagues. But I would also help out. Like I did Trial Master and Maven, stuff like that. And now it's just me, so I think anything that's in the league will absolutely be completely coherent with Path of Exile 2. Not that anything else wasn't, but this is definitely intentional in mind, giving you teasers, spoilers, like things to think about for the future. It's all really coming together really well.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, with the new league that's coming out, with all of the Karui, which I'm so excited about. I've been dying to see Hinakura for I don't know how long. It's been kind of my piece that I'm looking for, you know. She's so powerful, so interesting. For one, are you excited about the league? Is that something you wrote for?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So we just had like the craziest audio
지금 엑자일콘 인터뷰하고 있는데
over the last month.
개발자 인터뷰는 솔직히 안 봐도 되는 것 같아.
Voice actors in every single day, sometimes multiple, sometimes the same voice actor scheduled for like 7 p.m. at night and then 9 a.m. in the morning, and we're like, you can just sleep here if you want. Like seriously, we're not even joking. Like some of us are sleeping here. The ExileCon's in a week. Well, let's get this done. And 11 of those were for this league in the last week and a half. And so, yeah, all the different Karui chieftains and stuff like that. And every
저기
single one.
유튜브 가면은
All the voice actors were fantastic.
카카오 공식 방송 있어요. 거기 가면은 동시 통역 해준대. 거기 가서 봐.
I also think I mentioned to you earlier that because we were so rushed, the bosses didn't have time to review my script, so I got to write whatever I wanted. There's so much lore.
Unfiltered Matt lore. I love it.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Oh my gosh. I am extremely excited to see that. What is, I don't know if I can ask this, what is one of your favorite leagues that you have worked on?
Oh man, so many of them. So I joined the company right around Delve, and the very next thing we did was Betrayal.
Oh yeah.
I did a good half of those characters along with Nick Cullen, who wrote the other half. And I think you can tell who wrote which ones because there are some that are just like so fun, and those are his. Then there are ones that are just freaking weird, like Is That Fled. That was me going, how do I do this? How do I write 9 characters in 3 months? And we just had
그래도 이번에 일정이라도 알려줘서 다행이다.
Love Heist because we did the same thing there. Where we just
이번에도 일정 안 알려주면 어떡하지?
took their personalities to the extremes, and it was so much fun. And the conversations they had were an example of one of the techniques where, like, we were developing techniques for Path of Exile 2 to sell like the story to zoomies. You guys want to go fast? All right, you can go fast. And we'll find ways to tell the story that are okay with you. We're not going to make you sit still, listen to long monologues like the one I'm giving right now.
But, I mean, yeah, Heist is one of the leagues that is so densely packed with lore. It's either things you can read or, characters having conversations while you're running around killing things quickly. So you're kind of accidentally absorbing story, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best way to do it, I think, is never make them stand still. But my absolute all-time favorite has to be Synthesis for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So the story of this one, Mark II and I were like the only people in the office one Christmas vacation for everybody else. And he was like, hey, you want to throw around ideas for the league?
Yeah.
And we came up with like what I think is the absolute triumph, like a symphony of mechanics and story together.
So
yeah, and I am so excited for that. And I think we're going to get to see more of that from the mobile demo being played here today.
Oh, really?
If you go play that.
More Synthesis?
More something related to Synthesis. So the story.
Okay.
Yeah, the story of Path Mobile, if you check that out today, you'll find it's set 20 years in the past. That immediately gives us some big opportunities.
Oh my gosh. I will have to go check that out.
I'm so excited for that one because that lets us get into things that, we can't do if we're going into the future. But, starting 20 years in the past, there we go.
I mean, there's so much stuff that you can delve into in the past. Pun intended.
Yeah.
Actually not intended, but I'll take credit for that. So you mentioned zoomies. I think that is, in a way, the bane of any person who writes lore's existence. Not really. I mean, you want to cater to them, but how do you cater? Do you do more visual stuff? Do you include more green text?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and it helps that at heart I'm a zoomie, so I was speeding along, min-maxing, barely paying attention to the story when I got hired like 5 years ago. And I realized that we're gonna have to develop better techniques for that. So betrayal stuff, heist stuff, that all that came into that. So like more green text, more characters talking, more living characters. So one of the things, the Path of Exile 2 Gameplay 2 trailer, I think, where we Act 2 with the Ancient Gates, you can see that we meet Asala, the Sekima of the Ardura Caravan, in action. She's not in town before that. You just meet her, you fight alongside her. There's no time to sit and get the giant monologues, and you're immediately hooked up into the action. So most of Path of Exile 2 will probably be told that way.
Okay.
And I designed any standing and town dialogue where if you have a question, you can go ask someone more about that. And so there are some characters who have like Zarka, the storyteller in Act 2, has like 50 pages of dialogue at this point. She's been back 4 or 5 times for recordings, I think. And that's if you want to ask her questions. If you want to get a story told to you because she's a storyteller, there you go. But if you just want to blow past all that, go ahead. And I think they'll love this. The quests play out differently if you just zoom past stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, there's actual consequences for, well, not consequences,
We'll
but
see.
there's changes.
Well, the dialogue
Maybe
for sure is different. The quest states are different too. Like there is this, you'll see that where if you just blunder on ahead, you're like racing past, you don't talk to anyone, you just do stuff. The NPCs will be a bit bewildered and say things like, I don't know how you knew to do that, or like what you thought you were doing, but you got lucky.
Oh gosh, I love that. That's gonna be so funny. It'll be completely different experiences, I'm sure, for someone like me who's sitting there touching every rock that might have a word on it.
Trying to cover everything that players can do, especially with 12 classes, and some of the classes being culturally relevant, like the Sorceress and the Mariketh and stuff like that. So they will definitely be spoken to differently too. And, you know, like that storyteller I mentioned, Zarka, if you blunder ahead and just start doing quests without talking to her, she'll actually like chide you and like scold you because you're a little child. Like, you don't know what you're doing, and you're just running around hitting things.
Oh my gosh. So culturally relevant, I mean, we're going to Namakanui, that's at least one of the places that was named. And so we still have a Marauder. I'm sure there might be, in one of the new classes, there might be another Karui character.
Yeah,
and so is that what you mean, that they're going to go
absolutely.
and have history in the places that we've, like our Exile has history?
Yeah, our character
cool.
has history in some of these places, especially so Act 4, as they might be playing on the demo right now, is the map says Northern Namakanui. The Marauder and the alternate of the Marauder, the Warrior, absolutely is regarded very differently there.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And it will be cool to have NPCs kind of joining us to allow us to have more movement and have more freedom in that. But
픽업 레인지 거리에 있으면은
Oh, summoning NPCs in changed
마이너스 5%
everything.
까인다는
I was
건가?
so happy that they would develop this tech for like to make the story flow better. Like when they saw in the gameplay demo there where Alva comes in and helps you and stuff like that. Doing that as much as possible with the relevant portions of the game. Like if you have an NPC who you know is an expert on this stuff, like Alva's an expert on Val culture, of course they're gonna have something to say. So instead of having to go back to town, let's just bring them in.
So feel free to not answer, but Alva is there.
Alva is there.
She's in the Vol area. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I want to ask if it's Doriani's Machinarium.
Interesting that you noticed that choice of word use.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that we have had a lot of fun laughing about the use of Alva in poe2, because whenever anyone asks questions about her and how she's there, it's like it's a great big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. And don't worry about it. Have fun with it.
Literally her whole thing. I guess all the people who are like, Alva is the last to die, is this sort of a...
Oh, I think it's pretty clear she absolutely was, yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Same voice actress, same model. I don't think that's a spoiler to give away.
No, but also it was never confirmed, and I thought maybe if she was here in the future, though, like it wasn't, but...
Oh, I didn't mean to confirm anything for you. Like, you don't have to believe me. You know, I'm just some guy saying stuff. So.
Yeah, you're just some guy.
Yeah.
You wrote it, but you might be lying.
Yeah, I could be lying. Yeah, let's go with that.
Wow, that gives me a lot to think about. One of the things that I did want to ask about is now that we have some more time, We're getting
아,
the Karui
심사리스가
leak,
쉬운
we're excited to see
것처럼
Ikora.
보이는데 쉽지가
Any chance
않네.
Harbinger 2?
Oh, that is a tough question because Harbinger is so weird, and so I think we'll come to that road when we come to it because it's they've always been hesitant to revisit leagues.
Yeah.
But we can work around that. So we got Nivali back in this league because it was convincingly different enough that no one's going to see that and say, hey, this is just prophecy. I didn't like prophecy.
Yeah, we
Love
did
it.
that. This is the
So-
same thing. Yeah.
So Harbingers absolutely can come back if we find a way to use them that isn't literally Harbinger League. You know, someone
Right.
see this and think, okay, cool, I want to play this even if I didn't like Harbinger League because this is sufficiently different. I think it's definitely a possibility.
Okay. I really hope that they do, but
Yeah.
I understand that, yeah, you don't want to just do
Oh, I absolutely adore Harbinger.
Harbinger 2.
Yeah, that's a whole different type of cryptic storytelling where
Yeah.
I layer in the puzzle for you on purpose.
Right.
And a Harbinger is like, I don't even know what they're saying.
Oh, I went full detective hacker
Yeah.
mode to figure that out. Well, other people had laid out some of the groundwork for figuring information out about the language with that. Absolutely one of the most fun puzzles or most detective work.
I followed that whole saga. It was so much fun. And interesting, we use there's a creative use of language in next patch too, so I think you'll have fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some more decoding?
Yeah, we already
could dig
put it
it.
on screen, but nobody noticed.
I did not notice. Dang it.
Less decoding, but it's interesting use of language, you'll see.
Okay. I'll have to revisit this. So maybe no Harbinger 2 electric blue glue. But Harbinger is one of those leagues that's very different in terms of, it's very, I don't want to say cosmic because that's more Maven, etc., but it's clearly inspired from things that aren't as grounded as some of the other experiences. What are some like outside inspirations for you when you're writing lore outside of the game? Is there
다음 주에 무슨 캐릭터가 생겨?
Absolutely. I even wrote this down ahead of time, thinking a question like this would come up. So,
아, 이거 지금 이거
the
게임?
same things that inspired the art originally, like Berserk, games like Blasphemous, things like that. I also, you know, I
또
played
패치를
those.
해주는구나.
Yeah, I grew up on things like the Twilight Zone, the Outer Limits, right? Like that kind of dark horror and sometimes sci-fi storytelling, and it's interesting.
디아포에서는
that
실패 안 나오는
that
건
also
당연히 알고
applies to
있고.
this because sure, it's a fantasy world,
디아포에
but the human motivations are all still there. And so players and NPCs alike will all have motivations, and sometimes those motivations take them down very dark paths, and I'm very happy to go down those roads with them, and sometimes they just get a terrible fate.
I think that's part of what makes the lore so fascinating, is it's not really just a narrative as in this is the point A, point B. It's all about understanding characters' motivations and how that has consequences in the world and how those consequences create motivations and situations. It's like this continuous building network and puzzle. And so whenever I see, you know, a certain person get mentioned, like maybe Veridi gets mentioned, and then you're like, okay, what can we do with that? How does this have consequences? Thinking of the Solaris and Lunaris information that, well, was built in Heist, right? That they might also be Mariketh, and then we're seeing the same caravan of Adia's sister, or where she's from as well, who was interested in the Solarized Spear, and it's just like these continuous building snowballs of narrative. It's very...
So that is fun. So I think you're gonna love poe2 because we absolutely have taken that to a much more like definite and solid concrete level where every character you meet has a thing that they want, a thing that they are, you know, part of a culture they're from, and some of the NPCs do things. They don't just stand in town and wait for you to do your quest. Like, they're out there doing stuff, and sometimes they will actually act against you or do stupid things, get themselves killed, you know, that kind of thing.
Wait, really?
I mean, those are just examples, we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
But they're all so much more alive, and some
Yeah.
characters actually go with you between acts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw the Hooded one is from Act 1 and then goes in Act 2. But
저는
is there,
기아
like,
확장품
Well, you can see,
나오면은
I keep
하죠
referencing that.
I gotta
하는데
do the demo. I gotta do the demo.
But so Alva is in Act 3.
개인
in the town,
사람들이
but then she's
굳이
also there at
상승할까?
the start of Act 4 in that town. So there's a whole lot of like, let's make this world alive. Let's make these characters
하긴
do stuff.
한다고.
And I'm so
그러면은
much
뭐-
happier with this.
That's awesome. I absolutely can't wait to play the demo. I already really wanted to, but now I'm just basically gonna jump out of
I just keep referencing it because it's I can give that away because it's not spoilers.
Right, yeah.
I've seen it. There's so much more. There's a whole grand storyline here, and I think it's important to mention too because people often wonder is like this is much more grounded. We're restarting from zero.
Right.
You're waking back up on a beach with driftwood club, as we put, and all that cosmic stuff and all that stuff from poe1. Maybe we'll get there. Right now, we're telling this story.
Right.
And so you're dealing with people. Sometimes the NPCs are stronger than you, and when you encounter them, like, you know, they have their own agenda, you can't stop then, and you're gonna have to get stronger and come back later. You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I was really inspired by poe2 in poe1, where you run into her multiple times, for example. And so we have antagonists that you'll see again, like also multiple times. Yeah.
That's all. I didn't have that in my questions, but I love poe2 as an antagonist, right? She's not an enemy necessarily,
Great
but she's
character.
somebody who just taunts you and bothers you and shows up and has motivations that are basically counter to what you're trying to do. So we have some more antagonists.
Yeah, and we have a lot of characters that are somewhere in the middle. Where not necessarily your enemy,
몸값을
but
못한다는
you're gonna
게
leave feeling like, what did we just do? Did we just help a bad guy?
대세.
Yes.
Yeah.
여론이
Yeah,
그렇습니다.
flashback to that for
몸값을
sure.
못한다.
Oh, and yeah, like referencing like the feather choice in poe1, we'll definitely never leave a choice like that just hanging. It will always have a real effect on the world.
Yeah.
If we do that, yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, if you're skipping dialogue has consequences, then probably making choices like who's going to lead this entire civilization could have some consequences.
Oh man, and the skipping dialogue having consequences was such a catharsis for me.
That's so sassy.
If you don't talk to any of the NPCs the whole act and you just finish the whole thing without talking to them, they won't even know.
Yeah, they're like, I'm sorry, who are you?
Like,
what you did what?
This guy just charged in here and killed all these people and ran off. What's that about? I don't know what that was about.
Oh man. So I would be remiss to not ask. I remember in the very first trailer for poe2, one of the last shots is a boat.
Oh, boats.
I haven't seen anything about a boat since, but I gotta know. Is there gonna be a boat?
There's absolutely gonna be a boat. You can play it today.
It's in the demo too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well.
Well, I mean, we've hardly had any time to get on those demos yet, but Act 4, it's sitting pretty right there.
Act 4, boat. Write that down.
Definitely got to play that one. And I've seen all the animations and stuff for that. It's absolutely fantastic. And I don't know if any of that's implemented now. Like, I think it's just area transitions because we want people to save time.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Oh man, the boat is gorgeous.
I know. I'm gonna struggle so hard with doing the demo because I want to read everything, but I also want to see everything. And I don't know how to do both.
Oh man. Yeah, I
너희
do
또
recommend reading
출시일자
because there's so
대충
much there for
공개했잖아.
you already. Because I knew that the lore scholar type people would be playing.
Absolutely. They're gonna have to pry me off of the demo at some point and be like, man.
Oh, come on. Someone let her just play again.
Yeah, I'll be like, do you know who I am? Just pull that one. Oh, no, I'm super excited. And I'm super excited for the league. So are we going to get a wrap-up to all of the Maven and everything? Since we are starting fresh with poe1, we're going to get a...
That is an open-ended question, but I'm intent on that. And so far, they've been really good for giving me techniques, narratives, and decisions like to tell that story. And I think from working with Jonathan, he's one of the best bosses I've ever had, I think.
Awesome.
He also cares about story. He makes sure, like, we actually sit down and we plan out every single detail and say, like, all right, what are the character motivations here? Are the player motivations matching what the player's going to do? You know, the NPC motivations? And I have to think that we'll absolutely get closure to that storyline, especially since it's being maintained alongside the attachments.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited to see how that concludes and how that affects what we're doing in poe2. And I need to go play that demo, like, right now.
And then go tell everyone online.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and stay safe.
Yeah.
근데 내년에 클백이긴 한데 어떤 기준으로 이걸 또 뭐 뽑아서 할지 모르겠어. 솔직히 저 스트리머들 위주로 뽑는다 하더라도 한국 스트리머들은 또 혜택 받기 힘들고.
이하도 그렇고 포e2도 그렇고 쿨한 척하면서 발표하는 게 요즘 트렌드인가 보네요.
그런가 봅니다. 미션 영상 나올 거야. 소환 반지 왜 이렇게 잘 나오냐? 아, 높네. 끝.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 엑자일콘 2023 and the streamer stage. We are going to
몰라,
be
처음
playing
본 아저씨야. 유명한 아저씨야?
Path of Exile 2. My name is Preach. Many of you probably know me from my blind playthrough of Path of Exile, where we went in and see if we could figure out this game that needs a degree in order to play it.
유튜버가 맞는 것 같다. 텐션이 다르네 확실히 POE 스트리머들이랑. 유튜버가 맞네요.
Apparently, I am
유튜버
going
맞습니다.
to get destroyed. I must use my dodge roll. I must use all the abilities that I have to try and live through whatever nightmare I'm about to face. I've been told the difficulty is super, super high. So we're going to be playing the warrior because hopefully there's some flicker strike clicking in here. Although I
아저씨 감 있으면 헌트리스 해줄 거죠?
we'll see what we can get. So let's log in and see what we can.
헌트리스
mess
해줘야
around with.
돼.
And hopefully I'm not going to die as much as Scissor.
머리 한다고?
He got messed up completely. So we're dodge rolling. I have some abilities already. Let's have a look. See. Armor breaker. So the combos, one of the big things that I saw from the keynote that I was really excited about was the combinations of spells and how they work to make it into big massive smashes. Attack with a forceful blow, knocking enemies back and weakening their armor. So we'll get an armor debuff from doing that. Requires a mace.
아니 좀 유도리가 이렇게 없나? 아니 보는 사람들 입장으로 좀 생각해야 다른 직업 해줘야 되는 거 아니야?
That sounds awesome. What have we got here? The supercharged slam. channel to charge up a heavy swing, drawing earth from the ground to enlarge my mace. Release to slam the ground, dealing damage in an area around the impact, followed by aftershocks dealing damage in a larger area. Okay. And the Infernal Cry performs a war cry, taunting nearby enemies to attack the user and exerting subsequent attacks. Combust is triggered when affected enemies die. Ooh. Well, that sounds good. And we do get leap. Fantastic. Jump into the air, damaging and knocking enemies back with your mace. When you land, enemies you would land on are pushed out of the way. So constantly knocking stuff back with this. And we've got Sunder. Slams the ground, creating a wave of churning terrain that damages enemies in a sequence of areas in front of you. A number of enemies hit by the wave will release a shockwave, damaging other enemies that requires mace.
아니 그 아까 4개 할 수 있어. 4개. 4개 할 수 있어. 그 중에 헌트리스가 있었어.
Near those you sufficiently overkill with attacks will be burned, taking fire damage over time based on the overkill damage. The burn inflicted by the skill can only be effective by modifiers to damage over time. Perfect. All right, let's get dodging. Oh look, it's me. Oh fantastic. Hi Olga.
Ah, King's March. It's been months since I had a bow. If you're looking to hire a ship,
oh, Alva's filthy.
Sell your share of these Val artifacts first. Talk to Rob here. He's our buyer. I'll have to attend to things.
Yeah, gotta wash.
Don't worry. We'll see each other again when the time comes.
Fair enough.
헌트리스는 아직 하면 안 됩니다. 이랬다고?
I kind of want to talk to the creature.
Friend, I have urgent news for you. Time is short, and the unmaking of the world is nigh.
He's going to give us side quests.
Listen to what I have to say.
Go on then. Alright, ignored, shunned. Alright, Rob's in here. I can already see the difference graphically.
Hello there.
Hello there.
The local trade guild contact for Kings.
Alright, geezer.
I'll take this haul off your hands and set up an account for you. This looks like quite the pile of treasure. It should be more than enough to hire a ship. The only captain available is new to the job, but I know her. The name's McCall. She'll get to you.
Sounds like a deal. Sounds like hiring a
I
ship.
can sell this haul for you. It should be more than enough to hire a ship. The only captain available is new to the job, but I know her.
Okay.
The name's
Sounds good. Alright.
fair enough.
So
저런 거 입 맞춰가지고 좀.
Let's see about that ship.
Boat time. What's the well? Oh, it just
설마 아까 그 감옥 똑같이 가는 건가?
I want to leave
뚫린 데가 거기밖에 없겠지?
And they're not going to let me do it. Oh, look at this. This is a juicy boat. It's a thick old boat.
We're looking for work, yes. If you have enough credit with the trade guild. Let me see here.
Okay, set sail now if you want. Perfect. Boat me. Ooh, map. Ah, I get to pick. So there's a prison, Shrike Island, Isle of Kin, Journey's End, Kedge Bay, Gatoto Island, Tropical Paradise. Right, let's go to Journey's End.
오, 다른 데 간다.
Sounds good. If we're gonna die, we might as well die at Journey's End. I've got to say, like,
그러면
as somebody
봐도
who's
괜찮지.
relatively new to PoE, I've been playing for like a year, you know, playing seasonally. Having a fresh start has been one of the most exciting things, to be there at the launch, because I missed the first PoE launch. I was there when it came out, but I was so entrenched in the current games that I was playing that I didn't really...
Lost.
No, let's set our weapon on fire. We need our buffs on. That I kind of skipped by it, and then when it came time to play, there was so many years of content out and all that kind of stuff that I was like lost a little bit. Ooh. Oh, that's good. Right, I'm practicing my dodge roll a bit.
I'm not ready.
Oh, the double slam is really good, actually. Oh, I like that. Boink. Strange we're picking up gold. I wonder if that's a temporary currency, if they're going to do some smoothing. Hello. Get smacked, lad.
아, 확실히 유튜버라서 그런지 텐션이 달라.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
PoE 한 2시간 하면 지칠 것 같은데 저 텐션이면.
DT melee feels. I know everyone's like always, it's like anti-melee a little bit over room. Help. Dodging. Outplayed, idiot. Oh, these birds are bad. Bad birds. Oh god, I'm draining my mana so hard. Okay, need to keep an eye on that a little bit. actual loot. I have not checked what I've got. I can't equip that anyway. All right, we got a magic boy.
Flame of the Forge.
Beautiful. Right, see, yeah, that's where you don't... Okay, so the telegraphing is actually really good. I heard some people say they weren't sure on the animations, but maybe it's because a lot of the PoE1 stuff is so fast and you kind of just murder everything on the screen. Well, I see the telegraphing. I see what's going on.
기아포 보는 것 같다는.
Yeah, so you can see that.
기아포보다 템포 느려 지금.
Big mana for a big guy. Like it. Oh. Oh, we're getting smacked. Okay, we got actual enemies. Roll out the way of that. Let's get rid of big boy, eh? Give it the old slammer jammer. Give me that. Juicy. What's down here? I wonder if I can... I don't think I can leap over it. Okay, he's going to slam down. Let's avoid that. Oh, it's got a big range on it. Fair enough. More mana.
너 마틸보다 잘하는 것 같은데 이 아저씨가?
Yeah, he's still range on attack. That's nutty.
마틸보다 나은 것 같은데 이 아저씨가?
He's dead. He's dead. Alright, at least picking up gold is auto lead. Watching the slam. Okay, he tracks you for a bit as well. Need to keep an eye on that. Now we've got two of these bad boys rolling behind. Okay, we've got three of them. Fair. Dodged. Mana dripping. Got the fire going. My flasks are not regenning like I would hope they would, even with kills. Need to be a little careful on that.
너무 한 땀 한 땀 잡는다.
He just backhanded me. That's really funny.
부르다가 쳐맞아서 지금 웃는 건가?
Whoa. Okay, we don't not want to be in a corner. That is going to be bad news for everybody. Let's not do that. Dodge that. We're kind of boom.
이건 아니야.
Oh yeah, I saw the backhand coming as well.
몹 옵션 지금 라이프리젠 붙었거든?
You take damn? Do you know how to take damn? Oh, you're just regenerating.
아저씨 못 잡아, 못 잡아.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do the damn.
정신 차려, 못 잡아, 못 잡아.
That would be probably wise right now. We are not getting much. In fact, we're getting nothing. We need to deactivate this. Yeah, it's just sucking too much of our mana. Oh! Okay, this guy's not leaving me alone. Let's roll out of the way of that. What are the affixes on here?
No mana.
Nope, no mana. Looks like our little melee attack gives us... Well, I don't think we're going to kill this guy. Let's go over here. How much does this take? 20 mana for just armor breaker. Okay. Right, let's regen a little bit.
저 아저씨가 이제 저 몹을 안 잡고 지나쳐야 돼.
Hold. I can beat this guy.
근데 지금 아저씨 다크소울 아니에요 이거.
신박하네. 몹이 많은 게 아니라 몹을 못 잡아서 몹들이 쌓여서 몹이 많아지네.
Oh, that is not making
심지어 리프한 다음에 때리지도 못하네.
Flame of the Forge.
No, I didn't want to do that. Have a little
아니
drink.
그 못 잡는다고.
Oh, he's interrupting my cast. Steady, steady. He's regenning more damage than I could do. Which is painful. Okay, let's go this way. Ooh, give me that. Give me this.
그거 박아도 못 잡을 것 같은데.
Coming through. Oh, roll, 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 roll. Okay, we might have got into a bad situation here.
Flame of the forge.
Okay.
어떻게 시연이 지금 세 번째 시연인데 다 똑같은 그림이냐?
Switch that off for a sec. This. Oh, no. Okay, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Take me to the checkpoint. I am absolutely not surprised. Can I have my mana back? Okay, good. Oh, of course, because it resets the whole level now. Okay. All right, we need to use some different abilities here. 55% more recovery if you use one long mana. Yeah. 40 charges. Maybe a bit too spammy with it earlier on. That'll happen. This map looks beautiful. The whole thing. Oh my god. Okay. Let's focus more with the double slam. Seems maybe a bit more mana efficient. What was that gem we got?
내일 스팀 에이지도 똑같은 거 아니냐고? 그래도 나는 평가했을 때 스팀 에이지를 제일 높게 평가한다.
Leave me alone, little creature. I'm trying to read. Supports any skill that hits enemies, giving it a chance to shock more powerful skills. Okay. So let's put that. So it's a blue. We'll put it with Herald of Ash. Yeah.
파란 색깔에 넣어야 돼, 아저씨.
Not really.
빨간 거를 헤럴드 애쉬 하나 받고 그 다음 넣어야지 될 거야.
I can't put it in. Unfortunate. Okay. If I can, I haven't figured it out yet. Oh, this this guy. Oh no, this is just a normal one. Okay.
아, 유부쉑은
New mace.
POE2 해본 사람이 누가 있어. 근데 대충 봐도 헤럴드 애쉬 안 박히는 거는 잼 타입이 안 맞거나 아니면은 앞에 거 먼저 채워 넣은 다음에 넣어야지 박히는 거 같은데.
It's definitely going to take some time to adjust to this one.
둘 중에 하나야, 둘 중에 하나.
I do like the double slam quite a lot. Yeah, we want that up for these explosions. Maybe if we pile some enemies on top of that rare, that might be the play. We should roll here.
아니 이런 거 말고 빌드 하나 정해서 막 쓸어 담는 거 보여달라고. 그럼 앞부분 힘든 것도 다 용서되는데.
Can't equip any of this stuff, can I? What if they give me here? Okay, yeah, we want that life per second. Certainly better than what we just picked up.
Hammer and anvil.
I'm sure how much damn that combust does. Oh, this is a good place to try it, actually. Oh, that's much nicer. There we go.
No mana.
Well, we do run out of mana again. Pushback is very small. Like, every ability I have pretty much does some sort of pushback. Yeah, we are again. Oh, we're getting trapped. Let's not do that. I've got to tell you guys, it feels so weird to play PoE where even the trash enemies are something.
초반 장비라는 거는 뭐 보고 얘기하는 거야?
Oh, spicy, extra spicy, mayonnaise.
잼 다 안 박혀 있는 거 얘기하는 건가? 아주 다 안 박혀 있어.
Oh, the tracking's not too bad actually. Yeah, as long as you go like a decent distance away, you're fine. I'm kind of avoiding that big life regenning rare. I'm certainly not maxed on the damage for what I need. So we're going to dodge that big time.
No mana.
Little concerned about my mana. Let's let it regen a bit. Probably pushed too further on. Slam these down. Should be using combust a
저
lot more.
그냥 다크 소울하는 게 나을 것 같은데 이대로 나오면
Now would actually be a really good time, but I'm going to use the last of my mana to set it up. There we go. Yeah, that's absolutely what we should be doing. Give me that.
체력 물약이 더 있는 게 좋을 텐데.
1 MS. So good.
Hammer and anvil!
Let's try and set the combust off here. Get the big channel going. Roll over here. Roll this. He's going to slam me. Good stuff. Okay, we're getting a little bit more comfortable now. Okay, it's a very tiny explosion. It's fine.
게임 망하면 안
I'll be
하면
honest, it's
되죠,
probably because
뭐.
of my noobishness. I'm not quite sure why my mana flasks aren't regenning. I would like that. Okay, big bunch of boys. Let's ignite them all. Let's give them the old leap slam. Heal up a little bit from that. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, a lot of slammers aiming in my direction.
딜러랑 딜러 따로 있나요?
Still come with these
포션이 너무
filthy boys.
부족해
Alright, we
보이고
pulled a few
길도
of them.
너무 딸리는
Roll
것
this way.
같은데.
Dodge gonna dive in. Oh, are we doomed? Yes, 100%.
그러게 말입니다.
Oh, we're super doomed. Oh no, it's gone badly. Help! Help me, please. I feel like I'm in a boss fight.
진짜 모두가 이 상황이 나오네. 몹들한테 쫓겨가지고 당황하는 모습이.
Exposure. Okay, stay behind these. Okay, he's okay. Yeah. I'm chilled. Oh no. Alright, this is my only hope at this point is to combust them all. Oh, okay, we pulled it off, but we died. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we almost died doing it. We totally died doing it. Pulled a little bit too many, that's for sure. Let's have a quick look at a different area then. Well, I've got a few minutes to spend with you guys. And see what we've got going on elsewhere. Oh, it took me, I couldn't pick a different map. Oh, maybe Rodori does. Return to ship.
다른 지역 간다고 달라질 거 없어. 다른 직업을
Let's check
맞을지.
Strike Island. You're not going to let me? No, I've set it to there. What about the island?
다른 데 간다고 크게 달라질 거 없어요.
Okay. Fine. Fine. This is where we are. This is where we're going. I understand. No problem. Nice skill gems. So in this, I've got impact shockwave support.
서순대로 박아야 되는 게 아니면은 저게 잼 타입이 안 맞나 본데.
Gems in there. Okay. Second wind support. Supports with cooldowns, giving them extra uses of that cooldown. That's with the infernal cry. Good. And with Sunder, I've got jagged ground, which comes with Sunder. You know, which I'm not using a lot of, but honestly, I'm a little scared about running out of mana usage, which is the way it's got to be sometimes.
Hammer and anvil!
Whoa, we're getting spiced up here. We're trying to be a little bit more conservative, but this game does not want me to do that. Help!
알아, 나 좀
Okay,
누워서
slam.
보란다.
There we go. Okay. Pulling a few too many mobs gets risky real quick, bros. Alright. Let's get some combustion going for some explosions. Okay, watch the slam.
시험 끝날 때 올게요.
Tough. I see what people have been saying about the toughness. 100%. This is like going back to the start again, which is, for many of us, I think it's going to be a treat. An absolute treat. Let's roll behind this guy. Oh, didn't want to double slam that. That's not the plan. Top me up. Oh. One thing is the
아니
last minute
장비에
roll works
잼도
really
하나도
nicely
안
as well.
주고 할 거면 그냥 목 잡으면 재무수수 떨어지게 해서 세지는 거나 보여달라고.
Go on, give it up, pal. Should we try and fight the rare again? I think we risk it. I really do.
다른 건 몰라도 불면증 있으신 분들한테는 확실하게 좋은
Yeah, focus on.
게임일지.
Oh, okay. It's already gotten too scary. Big slam. I won't die. There we go. Okay, it worked. That's a real risk reward with pulling that off. Oh no, I'm stuck in a corner. Help! The leap did not save me then. Extra. You guys are in for a nightmare. An absolute nightmare when you get here. Oh man. I was talking to the guys who've been playing for like 45 minutes over on the other stages, and they were like, no, I did not get like anywhere near the boss. It was not happening at all. I think my favorite skill I've been messing with was the rolling slam. Like, comboing that with some combust on top of it has been great. We might need a shield. We very well might need a shield.
요샌 자사 게임 장르가 핵앤슬인 걸 부정하는 게 무슨 대세의 흐름인가요?
Holy cow. Well, I knew we were going to get rolled, but I didn't think we were going to get rolled this hard. Should be more ready with the leap.
와, 포트보다 루체 마법사 덱에서 아리 3타 스킬 터지는 게 더 시원한 듯.
That is super satisfying. Let's try and combo it with this big slam. Yep. Oh, that feels good. That feels so good. I mean, it's a channeled effect, but when you drop that bomb... I feel better adding another mana to what I'm doing, I'll tell you that. That is much better. Mix in the combust, that works juicy as well. Hey, where are you going, pal? Come back. The triple combo. One thing's for sure, I'm getting very good at knowing where to go in this map and how these enemies all work. So when we fight the giant versions, we're going to be in really good shape. But I've just been given the nod. That is going to be the end of our time playing, but I'm going to be able to play a lot more of this throughout the event and have a bit more practice with some of the different classes and making these abilities all work together. So that is going to be my game plan here, because we got absolutely rolled during that. This game is not messing around. They did pre-warn me about the difficulty, but that is all the time I have for you on the stage for now. So we're going to be cutting back to the live stage in order to show you some more interviews and information for Path of Exile 2. I hope this has inspired some of you to, one, get better than me and not die as often as me, in Zizran's words, but also watch class you might want to play. So thank you for being with me, and I'll see you when the game comes out. Bye, guys.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the wacky Path of Exile 1 mechanics Q&A. So the goal with this talk is that we will cover the crazy Path of Exile 1 mechanics that you've always wanted to know about. We have a cast of Path of Exile 1 developers here, including Mark, our programmer, who knows the game backwards. You'll know him from the Reddit and forum replies. He knows every aspect of every mechanical thing. He is armed here with a full copy of the game's source code, our development tools, and a client with cheats enabled. And this means you can ask crazy questions like, what would happen if you had 500 extra arrows, for example? And he'll theoretically whip that up for you, and we'll see what it looks like. So if you know something really, if you want to know something really obscure about a build, he can theoretically answer it. We'll see if we can stump him. But we also have Mark and Andrew. Now, as you know Neon, of course. He's basically supervising anything game development related in the studio. He's been primarily working on Path of Exile 2, but we run every single Path of Exile 1 thing by him. And that means that he can help with executive decisions. If we have to decide Path of Exile 1 expansions on the spot today, we can get it approved. We also have Andrew, who's been leading up design on Path of Exile XL1 for the last few years, he's solely responsible for entire leagues you've played in many cases from a design point of view. Like he just single-handedly did basically all of Sanctum design, for example. And so he can help answer questions about any things that relate to the future of Path of Exile 1. I'm not wanting really to spend an hour answering questions about the split between the two games, but of course if there's anything confusing you, it's absolutely valid to discuss it. Anyway, using Slido, the platform for submitting questions, could we get the instructions on the screen for that, please? We have a QR code you can scan, which will enable you to submit questions to the list that I have here. And I will skip past the ones asking about my head and then ask the questions of the people. So picking one off the bat, I'm being asked, what does it look like with 500 magma orbs with return projectiles? That's referring to the new support game. So we can come up with better questions on this, of course, but it's a good one for Mark to start putting together for us. Now, he has a button there to switch it across so we can see what's going on his computer. He'll only do this once he's finished the setup so that you don't see all the internal developer tools. So let's have a look at the questions to see if there are any other bits and pieces that we can answer in the meantime. Did the development team foresee the development of Ward Loop before it was developed by the players?
Not personally.
Same answer.
Like, there are some builds that we foresee that are weird and wacky that seem unintentional, but we did think about them beforehand. But Ward Loop wasn't one of them, I don't think.
Yeah, we try to put the pieces out there so you can combine them in crazy ways. So making something like Ward is so that people can do crazy stuff, but we didn't predict that one. The next question is, with all of the improvements being created for Path of Exile 2, will PoE 1 receive some of the changes like new models and animations? Now, I'm speaking for a lot of people here when I say this, but there are many things in Path of Exile 2 that can easily be ported to Path of Exile 1, right? It's entirely possible that we make a PoE 2 league that's so good we can just slap it right into Path of Exile 1 without modifications. There are many monsters that we could reuse in places. There is a lot of cross-compatibility between the games because they run the same engine. However, the new models and animations are probably the one thing that Path of Exile 1 is not going to get. Mark, how do you feel about this?
That's only probably true for the character classes, which I know is probably the more important thing. But they've been receiving monsters, like we've been backporting, sideporting, whatever you want to call it, the monsters and boss assets, right? The animations, the rigs, and VFX from bosses and monsters to PoE 1 for quite some time. Like a lot of what you see in for example, the bosses in Sanctum, like Lycia, there was the two big stone sentinels, the kind of gargoyle stone one. Those are all from PoE 2 and have been reused in PoE 1 context. So in that regard, yes. The characters, that's a much, much, much more difficult thing to achieve. That is like borderline impossible.
I think I can do that demo now.
We're ready.
So we were asked about having firing 500 projectiles for that.
I predict we're going to be on 1 FPS for a while here. Oh no.
That didn't seem very interesting. We'll just get a level 20 chain on there as well. And that wasn't hitting anything.
How many attacks per second can you do? Sorry.
Well, I predicted 1 FPS, but that seems to be handled real well.
So we have a rule.
Oh, here we go.
We're chugging a bit.
When you see these dummies, you do not ask for target dummy micros, please.
Right, that's what that looks like.
What about some increased attack speed?
Ooh, I think it's
like
speed for this one,
20 chains.
We're just going to get the client to crash off the bat here.
Yeah. This happened last time.
Oh. All right, well, while you recover from that. Okay, so a question here is, are there any development cheats or tools that have inspired items or gameplay? Is there any time where we've come up with something in a situation like this where we thought we want the game to freeze?
Are there any development tools that inspired something for gameplay?
Or anything we've done with cheats that have inspired certain gameplay?
Done with cheats.
The development process usually doesn't
이
start with the
자식들은
cheats.
솔직하게 다
We
보여줘서
start the
좋네.
development and we figure out which cheats we need to make the league easy to test and develop.
There's some examples. They're pretty hard to justify. But I've seen, for example, like monster skills when then cranked up to have multiple projectiles or way more cast speed, that they become viable looking player skills. That you kind of get a little bit of that going backwards. I definitely see, and there are certain situations where even the other way around, where you have like a player using a certain skill, and then if you add enough, again, cast speed or just like overdo it, and then all of a sudden you use it and it's like, whoa, that looked like an epic boss ability. And then you go and make a boss skill out of it. We've had situations like that for sure. But it doesn't come up too frequently, I'd say. Those are the only examples that come to mind.
I'll add to that, a lot of the original Val skills, there was a lot of prototyping with just, let's add a bunch of stats to the regular skill and see how it goes. Like Val Arc, we just took Arc and we put a lot of chains on it. We took the Fireball and we said, what if it did a lot? So that was one area where a lot of like early prototyping happened with it. Let's just cheat it up to huge numbers and see if it's fun.
We did a bunch of that recently as well, actually. Like if you look at Val Molten Strike, for example, that is just normal Molten Strike turned up to have a ton of chains and a ton of projectiles and just Molten Strike going ham.
There are a lot of questions here.
Hopefully not too many about your
There
head.
are a lot of questions here.
The more you scroll, the more nervous we get because it means you're skipping a lot.
Oh, I'm reading so many questions. All right, so what's the most broken build that we've uncovered internally? Or is there something broken we've uncovered internally that we can get marked to demo?
When you say broken, are you sort of mean from a balance point of view, or it was like it destroys the servers and it's... Well, I mean, in some ways they're the same thing.
There's certainly a line between destroying the servers and having a great time that we need to find here.
There have definitely been uniques designed where I've had to go to the design team and say, please clarify exactly how this works. And they've said what I thought they meant, and I've said, that will cause an infinite loop with this existing content, or that will make the players immortal in combination with this existing thing. But I can't demonstrate those because those ones don't make it into the game.
So, feel free to interrupt if you have another answer for this, but I'll go to the next question. So, a user asks, why does attack damage conversion work in a cascade manner and damage taken as doesn't?
Well, one, those are two very different things. All conversion works in that cascading manner. That's happened from very early in Path of Exile 1 development. When we first released the trio of the elemental attacks, which was Infernal Blow, Lightning Strike, and Glacial Hammer, we introduced the conversion mechanic, because of course all the weapons in Path of Exile 1 deal just physical damage, and we wanted to convert some of it to other types. And initially, we didn't have any of the fancy rules for it. It was just, for the fifth skill, it takes your base physical damage and says, no, this stuff is cold. And players did not like that because they took passive tree bonuses, which increased their physical damage with those weapons, and then half of their damage was no longer getting those bonuses, and obviously that was bad. And we discussed internally the obvious problems with having, well, we'll let all of the physical damage increases apply first, and then do the conversion, and then let the cold damage increases apply. And that didn't fly because it makes all of our nice additive things which are safe to give out in those numbers multiplicative with each other, and that's bad. It also didn't fly to only convert after modifiers, because if you're playing the cold skill or the lightning skill, you want to benefit from benefits to that elemental damage. Like, that's the cool part. And so what we eventually brainstormed solutions to this, and what we came up with is that we apply the conversion first, but the damage type has a memory, so to speak, of the type it was in the past, so that when you convert your physical damage to cold with Glacial Hammer, you get your cold increases and your physical increases applying to it, but they apply together simultaneously, and if they're additive increases, they stay additive. And as we expanded the conversion system, those things were always true for each step of conversion, and so at some point, I could not put a patch number on this, it all flows together after half a decade. We had to come up with an ordering to this because we couldn't allow a loop. If you can convert physical to fire to cold to lightning to physical again, then it doesn't stop, and that turns out to be bad for the numbers. And so because of that, we picked an ordering which made sense to us for the things we wanted to do at the time, and that allowed us to say that we can apply the conversions in a sequence and let all of the modifiers apply so no one misses out on the modifiers they wanted for their damage.
There will be an exam later.
Yeah. I just want to ask a follow-up question. I don't know if this is like NDA. Now, as a PoE1 designer, I know very little about the internal workings of PoE2 development. So do we know what we're doing for damage conversion in PoE2, if that's changing at all?
Well, he does. That is changing in PoE2. So Path of Exile 2 has had a lot of things re-examined and redesigned, and basically what we've done in Path of Exile 2 is going right back to that very first version of conversion. You can, if you convert it to cold, it's not physical anymore. It doesn't get the physical modifiers. And the main difference there is the bonuses to weapon types and things on the tree are not nearly as physical specific as they were in early PoE1. So that isn't as much of a problem. That system is still potentially subject to change, but it's in the demo you can play now. There are conversion skills there, and that is how they work. So I'm sure some very numbers-focused people out there have already worked that out by carefully examining the character screen in the demo. And I guess to circle around to the other half of the initial question, the reason the damage taken as system is different is the entire point of that system isn't to get bonuses to things, it's to prevent a weakness. You want to take your fire damage as cold because your fire resistance is low. It's changing what your mitigation sees the damage as. So obviously keeping modifiers to damage taken or something applying to it would defeat the point of the mod. So yeah, the reason they're different is they have fundamentally different purposes.
All right. I'm being asked, what does Spectral Throw look like with 100% reduced projectile speed?
That's a valid question.
I'm also very interested. I mean, I can choose what to ask, right? That's definitely what I want to see.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so while that's going on, did the development team anticipate any viable cast-on death builds when we introduced the skill? I mean, I certainly didn't. It was basically a joke, but...
Yeah, so I think when we did the spellcaster buffs about a year ago, we nerfed the damage multiplier on a bunch of support gems like cast on damage taken might not have been done at the time, but things like cast on crit, cast while channeling, that type of thing. But we didn't touch cast on death. So in that patch, every cast on death build got buffed by 60, 70%, something like that. And then people used it. So we had to nerf cast on death, and that was one of the most surprising nerfs I think I've ever had to be involved with. But a really funny thing is, I think cast on death might be a legitimate strategy for the new league, because you don't die for real, remember. When you die, you get revived after a few seconds, so you could suicide bomb yourself into everything and revive and do it over and over again.
That's quite cool. All right. So next question while Mark's still setting up is, does Ward have any interaction with Resolve and Sanctum?
I don't believe it does, right?
No, it doesn't have any special, like, when we added these new 3 Sanctum defensive mechanics this league, when Sanctum's going core, it's only considering your armor, your evasion, your energy shield. It isn't considering your ward at all.
All right. So the next question is, with Calandra League, were there any modifiers that posed a problem when they became negative?
Oh, tons. Mark will know all of this.
This is their life, right?
I remember Andrew coming to me, what was it, 2 weeks before the release? And saying, it's fine if all the mods on rings have negative values, right? It wasn't fine. We quickly reviewed all the mods together, and we had to come up with a system where for certain things there's a substitution where if it sees mod A, instead of just putting the value negative, it supplies mod B instead. An obvious example of this is added damage mods, because you have a minimum and a maximum, which have numbers, and if you turn those negative, because the maximum was bigger, it's now more negative, and you can reduce your actual maximum damage lower than the minimum, which no one wants to see. That's not how things are supposed to work. It no longer causes horrific bugs, but it's still not great. I think we are ready for that demonstration as well.
All right.
So I believe the question was about 100% reduced projectile speed?
100% reduced projectile speed on Spectral Throw.
That one there is 95. Now we're at negative 196, as I mistyped. So there is a cap on projectile speed. Can't go entirely to not moving, because that causes projectiles to just hang there. And you'd think that's great because things would walk into them, but they don't. Projectiles only work when they move into something else. The collision detection in Path of Exile is one way. When something is moving and it sees something else in its way, it detects the collision. And the projectiles only detect the collision if they're moving. So in the brief period where there were projectiles not moving, that was bad. And we may as well, since I'm sure it'll come up, go back to... Someone will ask about this anyway. That's what's for 500 projectiles.
That's cool. What if the projectile speed was normal now?
Let's put on some amount of this. No, that's far too far. That's a lot of projectile speed. We'll try a more normal number. I can type numbers. I'm a capable human being. That's sort of normal. There you go.
And this is how Build of the Week is born.
Looks cool.
That's that one.
It could be a new Val skill.
Yeah.
Boss mechanic.
Boss mechanic. And there we go. And cheats leading development, right? All right, so the next question is, how many breaches can be active at once? Because you did refactor it to enable more than one breach, right? Well, it has been refactored to enable more than one.
I want to say 5. Could be misremembering here. I feel like it's 5 can be active at once. Or I might be very wrong about that. I'm going off of some unreliable memory here. But anyway, I do believe it is 5. Or 3? Oh, no.
I think it's something like 5.
Someone just needs to test it.
5 rings a bell for me, but that's sort of more outside my wheelhouse. Someone else worked on Breach.
There are limitations ranging from number of slots that shaders have all the way through the gameplay code that have to be taken into account there. All right, so the next one is about chain, where the user asks if it has infinite range, could it fully clear a map in one cast, or is there other monsters only considered within a certain range of the player? And the face value answer is monsters are only ticked if they're awake, and awake ones are within a range of a player. So that's an easy one, but it does raise questions about chain. And you have all those target dummies. Is there anything silly you can do with chain there?
Oh, probably.
Yep.
But if you had enough players in the area, and they were evenly spread out so that every monster in the area was ticking, and then one guy in the corner shot them with infinite range and infinite number of chains, would the whole area die?
Why not?
Probably.
So you could do this in Royale?
Can't get that many, well, you get a lot of the area awake, but...
Because we're allowed 100 players in Royale, so we call this super chain mode, release it.
It's basically a fireman's chain, but with PoE chains, not buckets.
Okay, so a question while Mark's working on that is a user wanted to know how Kiwi Hold happened. This is a very long time ago. We've explained it before. So the short answer is that a lot of the stuff in our internal tables reference other tables by index. For example, you will have a mod on your item which is stored in the database as you have mod 79 or mod 300 or whatever. And so we accidentally got some tables out of sync. And so it was referring to things that were just arbitrary. So your shield looks like a kiwi and it's got arbitrary mods on it. And that was a bad afternoon.
Yep. All right.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I think the test case is just finished. So I've got an obscene number of chains here. So here's an arc. Got that one.
So like a cool new boss. So if you were to run with it, but like not in this right now, but if someone was to theoretically run with it as it started bouncing across a map, you could probably fire one powerful enough projectile to do it. Again, assuming infinite range chaining and that you can keep up with it.
The real problem is you'd need to be able to chain from terrain, because chaining just aims at where it was when the projectile aims at it, and monsters tend to move. So the longer the chain range, the more likely the projectile just misses and goes off and hits a wall.
True. Well, what if you then also had 100% terrain bouncing?
Yeah, and that would be possible, I guess.
We need to do this.
I don't actually know if the chance to chain off terrain works if the projectile hits the bounds of the map rather than a wall. In theory, that shouldn't be possible, but I'm not going to rule it out.
Alrighty, so the next question, and I'm really cherry-picking the ones I want to see here, is could we see Val detonate dead on like 1,000 monsters or something, filling multiple screens? Like, push that to the limits.
Yeah, that'll take me a while to spawn the corpses, but probably.
You put it in the clipboard and you paste and you do that repeat thing, and
Yeah, I know.
It'll be good.
What was the name of that crab in Invasion League?
Sliver Shell?
Yeah.
That's not it. Might have been.
Wasn't it? I don't remember. That one, that just gave me memories of that.
What's a monster with a fun-looking corpse?
So in the meantime, a user asks, will the nearby range qualifier continue to be referred to in-game in Path of Exile 1 and or 2? And is there a reason why we can't refer to it in a more precise form? Like, tell me about nearby.
It's 60.
It's 60?
Sometimes.
60 units.
60... It's 60 on the Ascendancy tree, and I think that's the only place in the game where it's consistent.
Right, and how many units are there per tile?
Per tile, 23.
23 units per tile, and it's 60 of those, so it's almost 3 tiles. And how large is the tile in meters? It was like 2 point something? We basically created the imperial system for this.
A unit is roughly 10 centimeters, as we've worked out. If people have played the PoE2 demo, you'll have noticed there are numbers given in meters. It's good. It's good. I made sure that the framework for that is potentially available in PoE1, but it would be every skill or thing which has to be ported to use that is an extension of effort. So it's not going to happen overnight. It may happen.
Sorry, what was that? Was about showing the base range on skills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We set up radius.
Good upgrade.
I made sure that system was set up on PoE1 the same as PoE2, so that things can have radius stats now.
It'd be very good to know all of the specific radiuses without having to search them on wherever they get searched.
Right.
Past the building.
I have a question here. It makes sense to use meters, right? How much work would this be to change Path of Exile 1 to also use meters if we're improving that in PoE2?
I mean, what measurement units you need is almost arbitrary. The problem is that in PoE1, the radius is not stored in stats, which we can nicely manipulate and display and show you the total value for. Because of how the game was set up originally, it's just hard-coded in each skill in different ways. It's not really unified, and every skill which has to be moved to be able to display radius, we have to have it use radius in that system. which means finding out where it is now, getting the value out, making sure it can correctly apply any dynamic modifiers, which can be quite complicated for complicated skills, and testing it. So every skill is a little bit of, like, no individual skill is like going to be not taking a week's worth of work, but there are a lot of skills in the game, I believe. So adding up, it's quite a lot.
So while you're setting up our detonate dead...
Yeah.
But would you consider you and I to be nearby?
Yes. Are we within 60? We are within 60.
If I had an aura right now, how many people in here would be affected by it is a real question.
That is a good question. I reckon till about that.
Depends if it's an ascendancy aura or not, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess it depends if you're playing an aura bot this league or not.
I guess what we're trying to say there is it's just as confusing to all of us. Don't worry about it.
And Mark definitely would be playing an aura bot.
Yes, I would, yeah.
So a user asks, were there any major advances in server tech required for building poe2? Now, this is a poe2 question, but it does help us make a point here that we are sharing a backend infrastructure between the two games. Any improvements we make to the servers for Path of Exile 2 affect both games. In fact, they're probably likely released in Path of Exile 1 immediately as just general Path of Exile server improvements so that we can dogfood them in the meantime. And an example would be that at the moment, we've had 350 or so thousand concurrent users on the Path of Exile 1 realm at once, and it starts to get a bit creaky at that size, like a big release. And we are shooting for a lot more for Path of Exile 2. Like we expect, you know, touch wood and stuff, that we'll see maybe 7 figures concurrent users for Path of Exile 2 beta once it gets underway. And so we need to have a lot more server capacity, and that stuff will be rolling out in Path of Exile 1 in the meantime. So if, you know, subsequent launches happen to be large, then certainly we'll have the capacity for that. But there are various improvements there that would be good. Like at the moment, we have restrictions related to the queue, for example, is not per gateway. For example, if there's constraints on, say, Frankfurt, you have to apply a global queue to the entire game worldwide to stop other people from playing, whereas having a per gateway queue would be really useful, because then if there's a problem with one particular gateway, you don't have to cap the entire game. And that kind of stuff will be deployed to Path of Exile 1 as soon as we get it in. All right, let's find some more questions here. A lot of these are very much Mark ones. Okay, so another is, what would negative damage do? Like, does negative damage heal people?
Negative damage would do nothing, because it would not happen, because the damage package stores damage in unsigned integers. They cannot store a negative value. Your stats, technically, can be negative. If you manage to get your minimum and maximum damage stats to be negative, then first off, congratulations. Second off, don't come within, like, strangling range of me. And third off, you will deal 0 damage. When it does the roll and tries to put it in the amount to store, that will just go to 0.
Fair enough. There are some very cool questions here of things to show, so we will try to get through some of those.
Yep. Unfortunately, when I spawn lots of monsters to make corpses, it kicks me for performing too many actions, so I have to log back in.
Well, what about the most monsters you can feasibly get quickly?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yes, we have packet limits, so players don't do silly things like this.
Okay, that seems to work.
All right, you should put it on the screen.
I believe you can type disable rate limiting and it will stop kicking you.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. That's neat.
But then...
Yeah. Unfortunately, disable rate limiting does not work on the production realm.
Oh. All right, and we wanted...
No guarantees.
We wanted Val Detonate Dead, was it?
Yep.
Okay. Right, this is only going to happen for once.
All right, we're going.
Oops. So we'll just need those.
I think you need to give yourself a lot of the corpse limit stat.
What is the stat, do you know?
It'll be on the skill gem if you do get gem stats, maybe.
Oh dear.
Oh no. It might be hard-coded, or is it?
Yeah, I don't think there is. Because oh god, one of them's still alive. Oh, nice. Yeah. Did we redesign Val Detonated at some point? It didn't used to have a limit in the original version, but I think I vaguely recall there being a redesign. I don't remember what the details were.
It's not what it originally did.
It clearly. Yeah, it has it does say it has an increasing delay between each one until it has destroyed 22.
Oh, that's it.
So I'll go take a look in the code and get back to you on if I can make it faster, but I probably can't.
Let's go to another crazy demo if we can. There's some low-hanging fruit here.
All right.
Okay, so a user asks, what's the smallest character size in the game? And can we see it with 500% movement speed?
Yes, we can.
I would go to Lionized Watch or something, so they get a bit more of an accurate perspective.
Yeah.
The area that he was in, the programming test area, as it's called, zooms out a bit, has target dummies, all the forbidden stuff. It's like GM Island, basically, for us. And it's fast to load as well. It uses quite a simple tile set.
Fun fact about that area, it is increasingly difficult to get people to not want, once you can go there, why not go there, spawn the monster, test the monsters, etc. Why would you not go to where it spawns in the game and actually see it in context? It's much easier, and it becomes almost like something you have to fight actively to not just constantly go to that programming area to test and spawn and do everything. And then what will happen is and this isn't to fault of anyone, this legit just happens, it doesn't mean anyone's necessarily bad at what they do, but I'll often send out a task and I'll be like, set up this monster, and then you get it sent back to you and they're like, done, and then I go to the area where it's meant to spawn, I'm like, they're not here, like where are they? And it's just like, oh yeah, set it up and made it all work in the programming area, and it just becomes like a habit, and it's something we have to constantly actively fight people doing, is spending their entire development career sitting in that programming area.
Yeah. So the smallest possible character size is minus 99% actor scale, because that's an integer number. We can't give it. Looks like that. And if we put some run speed on. Well, I like the splashes in the water. That's good.
I think it might actually look pretty funny if you just turn off run and zoom in and so turn off the buff. Because I think it should accelerate the character. Oh, it's too hard to see.
Maybe make it a little bigger?
Go like 10% size, I reckon. Get real cute.
We'll cut out a little bit of that. Yeah, there I am. Does that show on the big screen? This is maximum zoom in. I can't see him any closer.
We typically try to avoid showing you guys this stuff. It's like spawning Mirror of Calandra just off the bat, right? Sure, there's silly cheats for this, but it kind of undermines the importance of the game when you're like, the player could. So it's a treat for you guys for 엑자일콘 for Path of Exile 1, right? But it's going to be another decade before you see this kind of shenanigans in a poe2 client.
This looks fine. Ship it.
This would be great in PvP, I'm sure.
Maybe we need to do like miniature character PvP in.
Let's invert that. Let's go with like 600% increased actor scale.
The demigod build.
Yeah.
We did put a cap on how big you get because of people with the headhunters.
No, it's got a hard cap now.
Yeah.
I think
there's an uncapped.
Is
there an uncapped stat?
I'm not sure.
No, the cap was hard-coded because for all those people streaming with Headhunter and the stream was just their like knees. And apparently that didn't make the game look good.
All right,
it's firing from an unfortunate position, isn't it? What does a fireball look like? Oh.
Yeah.
Make one of those sand spitters that big. Give it the 600%, and then put yourself back to regular size.
Yeah.
This is how we get bosses made.
There's a sand spitter there.
Oh, yeah. Evading your cheats.
Yeah, give me a second. Stop moving. Zombies haven't listened because they're not intelligent anyway.
The problem is not everything scales up with them. So the projectiles are still tiny. But you can sometimes just do that. The animations don't hold up. Things like movement speed don't hold up, so it would end up traveling. Some are fine, like a creature like that might actually be alright, but a human will end up just being really slow, and like they'll end up with both legs off the ground for some time, and it doesn't really hold up. But sometimes you can take a monster and scale it up 6 times, and you know, it works perfectly well.
Hey, Mark, do you remember when we made those videos of the bosses fighting each other for the news? How easy is it to put 2 monsters on opposing teams when you just spawn them?
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, trivial.
Do you want to go somewhere and spawn some bosses on different teams and just let them have at it?
Yeah, all right. We'll give it a go.
This isn't going to be as balanced. Like when we did the ones for the news, we had to actually set some stats to make it a video that wasn't just, you know, one-sided. Because bosses have different levels.
Some bosses can be spawned out of arenas, some cannot, so we need to kind of figure out, is there any suggestions here for bosses or anything? We can see if it can work. Exarch v Ada. Well, half of that will fall apart, but we can probably try it. What, Argus and what? Oak. I can come over and spawn them if you want.
No, I'll have to look up what they are. So Argus.
Exarch and Ada. Pretty sure that X might work. I'm just trying to think whether or not. Well, we'll break apart. We can always find out.
I can still use the number input with these, right? Okay, that's him. What was our opponent?
Oak. He might not work because he's got the whole bandit quest shenanigans
He's pretty going tied on. into his location. But
Oh, the map boss variant will work.
But the map boss might have some special map stats, which makes him stronger. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Argus is going to die.
Oh, no, there's a standalone version. Oak standalone.
When designers join our team from the outside, they do this for a few hours.
They might attack you, so you might want to just add grace period yourself.
Or hidden monster. So now they should be on different teams, and
Add bug, I know that one.
yeah, that type
it's got 7 stats, all ones.
Yeah, I don't usually add the grace period on to.
How do you know this?
I can spell. Whoop. Oh, so here's the problem. I got one thing.
He's not going to compete with enduring, bro.
Yeah. Show them the increased timescale.
Okay, so we just accelerated time here.
Yeah, Argus is losing this.
Argus is gonna die from
Oh, he's not even unique though.
Yeah,
he's been.
I didn't know it was possible to spawn Argus as a normal.
Are there any other suggestions for good bosses that do a lot more?
Lunaris Solaris.
Oh, that one already exists.
That kind of does already exist, yeah.
You just warp to the colder of a map.
We can try Exarch and Eda. Eda of Worlds and Searing Exarch.
Okay.
If they're both out of their arena, they both have a disadvantage. But like, I don't think Exarch can do his like crisscrossing projectile skill outside of his arena. For many map bosses, we've made standalone versions. I don't think these have any. A lot of the pinnacle ones, well, not a lot. Any that can go on the Feared or in Maven encounters have standalone versions, but these do not yet.
How do I get Searing Exarch? What's he called?
Probably called like Cleansing Fire Boss.
Oh, yeah, yeah, there he is. I missed him. All right.
And the other one's called Tangle Boss, I believe. Just internal names. They might have a bunch of Geo and stuff to activate, but I mean, we'll just see.
Okay.
If it works, it works. Else we have to pick 2 other bosses.
What's his name? Eater?
Yeah, I think it's Tangle Boss.
I tried Tangle Boss, it didn't seem to work.
Tangled. So.
I should have limited the search to monsters.
It's very hard to remember names because you become so familiar with internal names and...
Yeah, I only know the uniques by like what they do.
Consume Boss, maybe?
Eater of Worlds,
Consume
there he
Boss,
is.
yeah.
Found him.
I always get that mixed up with the Swamp Boss.
8, 9, 6,
I can't even
7
remember
is
his
Consume
name.
I think
Boss.
Tangle was the name of the art, Consume was the name of the...
And then Doom is...
As it goes through each department, they get renamed, just arbitrarily by that department, just to whatever they think it should be called. And then by the time it gets to the user, it's like, oh, you don't even...
I might have made 2 of them.
Do you want to remove grace period and see if they might just have proximity triggers that enable...
I haven't turned for Monster Hour on yet.
Oh, you might need to re-add it now.
I'll do God Mode, that's faster. Get my grace period back. Oh,
yeah, I think they're fighting you now.
Yeah, I got... Well, now that they're highlightable, put that one on team 6. Yeah, okay. Well, this is obviously unfair. We need another one of the Searing guy.
All right.
Yeah, you got 2v2.
So, Mark, this may be a good time for the next question, which is, do we support first-person camera? Got a numpad there?
Wait, do we?
You know the key that dissociates the camera?
Like
God. Numpad minus?
I don't have a numpad on my keyboard, so... No, not that.
Isn't there a key there that lets
you can type /toggle free cam.
Because now we can get some good shots of this fight.
Toggle free camera, I believe. Yeah.
And then
Oh, fog. WASD, depending on what camera type it is.
And this is how we do cinematic shots on our trailers. As you can see, there's no
usually
sky.
people are better at it than I am.
Yeah, we don't have skyboxes, and the fog is a trailer maker's worst enemy. I don't know what's going on here.
This one hasn't fucking woken up.
You spawned him with grace period, so this other Exarch's just fighting a 2v1.
So as you can see, the free camera ruins the item...
where are we?
Item names. Oh god, what have I done? Help, I am not good with computer.
Oh, holy... What the...
I'm not sure what's happened.
Feels like we got an assert.
An illegal skill, most likely.
Are you on local server?
Yeah.
Must be. Is there an assert going on here, or is something paused? Have you tapped to the server? I reckon there's an assert. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool.
All right, so
I might have to fix that at some point.
I'm not sure if you're going to have random open world 2v2 Exarch Eater for Worlds things going. Yeah, so because that pauses the instance when the error pops up until you ignore it or proceed, and then it will play very quickly until it catches back up to where it's meant to be.
All right, so the next question, which may require a fresh instance, Mark, is that the players would like to know what a literal zoom answer would look like with lots of minions. You know, like if they say 1,000.
All right. I've come to a place.
We'll never know who won. It seemed like Exarch was destroying them.
So, actually first.
I want a rematch of that Ogre vs Argus later because he was not a unique rarity, which means he was missing a lot of damage and a lot of life on Argus. But I'm maybe biased, I like Argus.
Okay, let's have some skeletons.
So a player asks, are there any cool Easter eggs hidden in Path of Exile 1 that you can't find without the free cam? No, that would probably hurt performance to include stuff you can't physically see.
That one?
What are the weirdest internal names we have for things? Well, there are interesting things where, like, we've used whirling blades a couple of times for stuff other than what it is, right? Like, blade flurry is whirling blades internally, or?
So, whirling blades internally all through development was called blade flurry, and then we renamed it whirling blades right before release. So this was a very early skill way back in the day. It's got a lot of weirdness because it was very early PoE. None of us knew what we were doing, I think. And then years later, we started doing more channeled skills, and we released what was internally called charged attack. And then that got named Blade Flurry as an actual final name, because obviously charged attack is a bit dry and boring. And this keeps causing confusion, because people now know that as Blade Flurry and go look for Blade Flurry in the code, which is the code for whirling blades. That's not as bad as Blade Vortex, which was called Spinning Ethereal Blade internally, and then was named Blade Vortex. So the balance data is called Blade Vortex, and the internal code is called Ethereal Spinning Blades. And then we had to remake that because it was bad, and so then the code was called Blade Vortex, and the balance and all the associated data for that was called New Blade Vortex. And then we had to remake that because it was still bad. And then the code was called New Blade Vortex, and all the associated data and balance stuff was called New Blade Vortex. Please don't make us do it again.
What iteration of new shield charge are we on to? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It's like 4 news or something.
We also use code names for leagues. Like Blight was Affliction internally, and still is.
Affliction is Delirium.
Oops. What was Blight?
Blight was Coriander League.
Was that Coriander?
Wasn't it? Well, something was Coriander. I don't know. Definitely Mushroom was the name.
Mushrooms were oils.
Yeah, the oils were called Mushrooms. I think it's Coriander League. I don't know why.
And Scourge was Hellscape?
Yeah, Scourge was Hellscape.
Right.
What are some other interesting ones?
Oh, it doesn't do that. Oh, bother. Oh, yeah, I see it. This happens a lot. Usually there aren't as many people watching.
A user asks, where is Chris going to be after this talk if we have the cards to beat him?
That still didn't work.
That's ominous. I will be with my bodyguard outside the venue because the talk is the last one for today. Can we catch fish in the 323 boat league? They're talking about 324, right? We haven't announced anything to do with that.
Was it 548?
You know, these guys diligently insert fishing stuff in every single league we do still, to this day, right?
I think that's called Basil League internally.
Basil?
Yeah, some sort of other, or basil, some one of those herbs, you know.
I thought it was Schooner.
I don't really know all those like green leafy things, but we keep getting leagues named after them.
Yes.
Okay, well that at least makes them last longer.
How many players fit in an instance until the game crashes? Quite a lot, actually. We increased this for Royale. Previously, it was a 32-bit integer that stored a mask of which players could see each tile, and so there was a limit of 32 players, which in towns we got up to 24 and could overflow slightly. But now we support large numbers of players for Royale. Like we've tested with 100. We could probably go a bit higher. It's not great to receive that much data in your client.
Yeah, but then when we did the issue with the number of players is the more players with different skills and everything, the more you have to preload.
Behold my army, it seems.
Holy. Convocation.
Oh, I don't have the mana.
See, in Diablo 2, I would get the teleport amulet, and you just PK someone by jumping right on top of them.
half of them can't get close enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh dear. I heard.
We have a question in the meantime while Mark demos this. Are any of the Crucible modifiers to skills bookmarked for later review to be added in some form?
I'll try not to give any spoilers, but there are certain elements from Crucible passives, well, mainly the stats, that we will integrate into other places in the game, and some of those will be coming this patch. A lot of them won't, but we've got them in the bank in case we ever need to find a better home for them.
Can you give one spoiler?
I can't think one off my top of my head, which is bad.
It's not a test, you're allowed.
Yeah, these guys have
well,
got a range.
the fresh meat support is very similar to the Crucible notable that was on Spectres and Zombies, for example. So I think in Crucible League, they got adrenaline for like 10 seconds when they get summoned. So fresh meat support is like doubling down on that idea, but like way better than that note, I think.
What is going on there?
Now they're on fire.
And this computer has a 4090 in it.
Argus is unfazed.
Yeah, I don't think this is a real Argus. I think it was a monster based on. I just went monster Argus.
Lost nothing. The problem here is I'm pretty sure these are spawning low-level monsters.
Oh yeah.
Something like
It's
that.
a level 1 skeleton's gem.
Is there a skill that was more difficult to implement than expected or a particularly interesting bug? So let's go with the bugs angle. What's a skill that we were working on that was just really messy?
Hydrosphere, for sure.
Hydrosphere,
Oh,
yeah.
Hydrosphere. Ugh.
Hydrosphere is like 19 skills in one, though, so I don't know if it kind of counts.
That's one of the things where we work for 3 months and we deliver Hydrosphere, you know?
I had to come in and I think I spent a Saturday just re-implementing the fact that it is a thing on your team but lets you hit it as though it's an enemy and doesn't let things which are actually enemies hit it. And basically there's a very core thing in the target section for is enemy and is ally, and those are just a lot uglier ever since we implemented Hydrosphere.
All right. What's the weirdest or worst thing we found very close to a league launch? I have an example, but I don't think I should give it because it's going to let people exploit if they know it.
Wait,
so
is
never mind.
Is that for the upcoming league? Or?
What's that, sorry?
Is that for the upcoming league?
No comment.
I'll give a good one, which is kind of related to Val Summon Skeletons. So in the Trial of the Ancestors, you do a match, and then you can do another match straight away. But at the moment, there is currently a bug, which means that the matches don't get cleaned up afterwards. So what you can do is you can desecrate and lay a lot of corpses, or you can summon your Val Summon Skeletons, finish your current match, start the next match, all of those corpses will still be there, all the Val Summon Skeletons will still be there, so you can just like Val Detonate Dead, one tap everything. But we're aware of it, so it will definitely be fixed before launch.
Yeah. Better luck next time. Well, I think it's probably best for us to call the questions there. So that's the end of 엑자일콘 Day 1. We plan to start tomorrow's schedule by streaming the 3 developer talks that were shown in the auditorium today that have not yet been on the stream, and so they're going to take place before we actually start live in person here tomorrow. In person, we're starting at 9:30 a.m. New Zealand time. At least that's when the first streaming stage thing is. The first talk, which is the Path of Exile 2 questions and answers session, will take place at 10 a.m. That is a perfect time to bring up all the questions about the split between the games, what the plans are for Path of Exile 2. It'll have all of the senior Path of Exile 2 designers there. A great time. They will answer all of the tough questions there will be. In addition, I'm really looking forward to the Action RPG Roundtable, which we're going to be hosting later on tomorrow, just before the race event. That's basically me and Eric, one of our co-founders, and also the contingent of American game developers, David and Max and Eric and Travis, who worked on Diablo, Fate, Torchlight, and so on, will be answering questions moderated by Kriparian. So have a think about what Action RPG design questions you want and have a look at that panel. It should be great. And then, of course, the day finishes with the huge race event where we get to crown the 2023 racing champion. So that should be a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who's been watching online. There's a big day of streaming available tomorrow, and to everyone who's here, I hope you have a restful evening. Don't drink too much, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. But thanks, everyone.
2시 3분에 일어나면 10,000원 준다. 많이 봐줬다. 2시 10분에 일어나면 20,000원. 포탈. 이제 마지막으로 2시 20분까지 일어나면 3만 원.
어이, 씨, 문 닫아. 모기 들어간다.
영도 왜?
일어나셔야 합니다. 그렇게 쓰러지셔선 안 됩니다. 일어나세요. 어서요.
일어나야 해. 넌 조선의 자존심이야. 일어나. 일어나고. 일어나. 힘내십시오. 힘내십시오. 일어서라. 일어서. 어서 일어서.
일어서. 저녁에 올게요. 저녁에 랩런치 하기로 했다.
도하라. 애비다. 도하나. 일어서라. 상대는 공산당이다. 애비를 죽인 공산당이야. 일어서라. 일어서. 어서 일어서. 도하나. 도하나.
영.